Hey everyone, today is Tuesday, the 23rd of October, 2018. It's The Gap, episode 442. I'm Lawrie. Joab Gilroy's here. What's going on, Joab?
I am. Not much. Super busy trying to wrap up everything for the week ahead of, obviously, doing nothing all week while I play Red Dead Redemption 2. But you already know all about that. So, yeah. That's my life, is trying to do all my work for, front-loading the fuck out of my week so that the end of my week can be dedicated to being a cowboy, baby.
Right, yeah. That's what, I've basically been doing for the last it's been about a week. It's been fucking pretty hectic. So we'll get to that, I guess, later on though. We should start off with something different. You got to build the hype up a little bit.
Totally. Yeah, we're going to build to it. That's fine. Actually, what I wanted to start off with was I read your interview about playing as a German tank commander or a Tiger 1 commander in Battlefield 5. And I thought it was really good. Like, it was a really, really good question. And you clearly caught him off guard. I thought he answered it quite well. And last week, obviously, my reaction to the concept of playing as a Nazi was, I guess, pretty big. It was a big reaction, and I wanted to talk about that before we moved on to other stuff, because I thought, to me, it's been something that I had to dig into a bit. I had to look into a bit more and sort of think through. Because obviously my gut is, if you're on the Nazi side, you're a fucking Nazi, and how are you going to play as a Nazi? But there are a number of scenarios. Looking into it a lot further, I was sort of prompted by something Nate was saying. He was saying that, in his opinion, you can separate the German army person from the Nazis. In a lot of cases. In some cases, you absolutely can't, with the SS and stuff like that. Some of them, it's synonymous. Being a member of the SS is synonymous with being a Nazi, but being a member of the German army maybe isn't necessarily. And then, so I went down this fucking Wikipedia rabbit hole. How you'll look up one thing, and then 4 hours pass, and you're looking at something completely different, and you're like, oh, right, yeah, I was looking at Nazis in tanks. Somehow, I've learned about how rabbits breed. So anyway, that's basically what happened to me. But while I was falling down that hole, I came across there was a battle where German soldiers actually helped. While they used their tanks to help defend, towards the end of the war, they helped the Allies, German soldiers did, against the SS. And that sort of, I guess, really emphasized that divide for me, that divide between German soldier and Nazi. And I hadn't really thought about it before. I guess, contextually, for me, the idea of, the Germans were bad. They were the bad guys, right? But you sort of forget that it's not that easy. And nothing's that simple. Sure. And so I guess I'd forgotten a little bit about that. Still, fuck Nazis.
Right.
That's about all I got.
So I tried to ask him sort of about the story and that sort of thing. He didn't really want to touch on the story, and that's why I kind of dug a bit deeper with the whole, how you're trying to frame this exactly. And he gave me something, but it was still kind of hard to gauge what that mission is really about. And the other thing that I learnt was that apparently is not going to be a launch mission. That'll be coming later on.
December. It's not out till December. Yeah,
that was kind of strange, because I don't think he mentioned that to me at all. But
that sort of swings me back the other way,
Yeah.
Maybe they're pushing that back so that they can avoid some controversy that might be tied to their reviews.
Sure.
But on the I think if they were fully confident that it was going to be this super respectful and thought-provoking examination of the separation of the German army soldier versus Nazi, then you would you'd want to launch it. You'd want to be like it'd be that fucking like massive thing, right? That the Australian one where you sort of resolve to the idea that you're going to die, or the prologue from the from Battlefield 1, you know, like those missions where they're really impactful and you're like, holy fuck, this is meaningful. They've actually done something really good here, something mildly important, and makes me wonder, like, I don't know, maybe they just want to let you drive fucking Tiger 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah. But, yeah, I think you did well pushing the way you did, and
well, that was the only interview that I posted up. Well, the only question out of my 20 minutes that I asked. Mainly because I was playing Red Dead.
Busy playing Red Dead.
Yeah, and like I kind of put a preview up, and it was one of those things. It was like, I just need to get something up, and it wasn't anywhere near my best work, especially because they were like, hey, don't speak about all these different things.
Right, yeah.
And it's super heavily story-based. Like, I don't think the actual gameplay is very good. I don't know if I mentioned that last week, but I don't think the gameplay is anything great. It's just kind of, whatever.
By the numbers.
Yeah, and you're basically going to be in it for the story, and they're like, don't really talk about the story stuff, so it's really hard to be like, well, this is what the story's about. So I just did like a fucking brief overview of these are the missions.
Yeah.
This one's got stealth, this one's got stealth, this one you're in a fucking tank, and off you go. So I kind of focused a bit more on the interview stuff, and I would have liked to have posted maybe a couple more, but I just, like, living that Red Dead life. We got no time.
Oh, woe is you, motherfucker. Yeah. I've been playing other games because I don't have Red Dead, you fuck. Thanks for throwing it in my face. Yeah. I've been playing Accounting Plus.
That sounds... Accounting Plus. We got, like, one end of the spectrum. Accounting Plus.
It is a VR game by the dude who made... What was that fucking crazy, like, super meta game?
More information.
Fucking the one where, like, Stanley Parable.
Right. That guy?
Yeah, the guy who made that.
Stanley Parable, yeah.
His name isn't Stanley Parable. He made the game The Stanley Parable.
Yeah, he also made a second game, which we talked about on here.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did we?
We did.
I don't know. That's the one he's fucking famous for. So he's got that one, and someone else, and Justin Roiland.
Oh, right.
Who is Rick and Morty in Rick and Morty. And so this is a sort of off-the-wall, irreverent, esoteric sort of VR game where you get into the game and you are prototyping this brand new accounting VR technology.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to help you, do all kinds of accounting stuff. And so you don the headset and you put the thing on and that's it. Like, you just go through this experience, and it's very guided. And it's pretty short. It's like, I think 25 minutes, probably. And that's all there is to it. And it's like $10. And it's interesting. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. It's hard for me to, describe much of it, though.
Mm-hmm. Because
it's only 25 minutes long. And I feel like I could fucking probably spoil the entire fucking thing.
Yeah.
In one go. And I don't want to do that. But at the same time, it's quite short. I mean, as a value proposition, it might not make the cut for a lot of people. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I like his sense of humor, Roland's sense of humor, and the other two's obviously they've got a similar sense of humor, which is why they work together. And that's sort of the whole idea of the game. Sort of drags you through. It's like I imagine a Rick and Morty meets like cross Black Mirror type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is the best way that I can describe it. Like vulgarity and like the dangers of technology, and also like a bit of a loony storyline that loops back in on itself and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, there's a bunch of humor. I will spoil one thing. It was my favorite thing. Back in the once you finish the game, you go back to the hub world, and you can do other things. There's not a lot that you can do, but there are a couple of things you can do, and one of those things is you can shoot hoops. Right. It's a basketball and a basketball hoop, and you can shoot hoops, and it is not easy to do when you're holding two fucking VR controllers. You're like, because you got to grip shit with the fucking triggers, and it's not a fucking regular way that you would use a hold of basketball, right? And so you grip it and then you try to throw it, and then you realize that holding it two hands is very difficult because it's quite sensitive to when you let go of one trigger or the other. Like, it's not like with your hands where you just innately let go of the ball at the correct time. Or maybe maybe that's why you fuck up a free throw in basketball. Maybe your inability to release shit at exactly the same time is why you goof up fucking your throws, and you should just throw them granny style. But instead, right? So you're just better off holding it with one hand, and then you realize over time that it's very difficult to sort of fling a basketball because you're not like shooting it like you would a free throw.
Sure.
You sort of just like fling it like you might a sack of sand, a bag of sand, and or a hacky sack. Yeah, that makes more sense. So you fling it like a hacky sack, and then it may go in or it may not, but it doesn't have any actual weight to it, so that complicates things further. And over the course of I think like 24 attempts at throwing this fucking basketball, I started counting late, so it's between 23 and 28 attempts at chucking up the rock. Eventually the disembodied voice that it is like that tells you what is going on, that is sort of your narrator, comes in, and he's like, the whole time you're missing, he's like, that's awful. Oh, I can't believe you've done that. Oh my god. Is this your first time playing basketball? Etc. He's giving you shit.
Sure.
But at some point, 20 plus attempts in, he comes in, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to give you the achievement. I'm just going to give it to you so that you don't have to do this anymore. And you get the achievement regardless of whether or not you successfully complete it. And they take the ball away so you cannot continue to attempt it, which I was sad about because I really wanted to just nail the shot. I've nailed the shot in fucking Black Ops. Can't you just let me fucking take my time and work it out? God damn it. Anyway, it was funny. I thought it was quite funny. Like, he was so clearly embarrassed of how often I was continuously failing that he had given up. And he just gave me the achievement. So that was pretty good. The rest of it is, like I said, that Rick and Morty style sense of humor with a sort of Black Mirror style wacky storyline. There's some very, like, people who have watched a lot of Rick and Morty will very quickly tweak onto where some of these fucking ideas came from. Like, it's not necessarily recycled, but they're definitely pulled from the same fucking gene pool, you know? But I thought it was good.
So you're saying it's the same guy that did the Stanley Parable?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so he did the Beginner's Guide as well, was the other one I talked about.
Which one was the beginner's guide?
I don't think you played it, but it was like a series of like Half-Life mods, and it was him sort of narrating how they came about, and it was this weird sort of storytelling. Like, I didn't look into it too much, but you couldn't really figure out whether or not he was being legit or if this was actually just a story he was telling.
Right. Okay.
It was sort of just him talking about like the way these ideas came about and how these levels or games are supposed to work, and things like that. But also, I don't know if he was talking. I feel like he wasn't really talking about himself, like a friend of mine or something like that. But maybe it was him, maybe it wasn't.
Yeah,
maybe they were just stories. Anyway.
Yeah, right. So it was him, William Pugh. Dominic Johan who made Minutes, which is the game we've talked about, and Justin Roiland.
So it wasn't Davey, the main guy.
What?
Davey Rendon was the guy that made the Beginner's Guide and the Stanley Parable.
Well, then I guess not.
I think the other guy you're talking about was did he do the music or something, or he came in later on and was like a level designer?
Game designer.
Level designer. I think.
He has worked on... Oh, yeah, he came in late. Fair enough. Right you are.
Yeah.
He's not Stanley Parable. But he is listed as one of the designers of the Stanley Parable on Wikipedia.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, I think he came in.
It's got voice acting from Rich Fulcher.
Okay.
Who is a British guy. You the moment you hear his voice, you recognise. You should be able to. He was in Snuffbox, if I recall correctly, with the dude who does Toast to London. Those two. Oh no, he's not British. He's American in Britain with the British guy of Toast to London, and Reggie Watts.
Sure.
Anyway. The moment you hear their voices, you can picture them. So
you wouldn't recommend to buy it though? It's too short.
I would say it's probably too short. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't regret buying it.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't recommend going out and actively trying to find it. How the fuck do I find you again? All right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's... Yeah, it's good. It's I enjoyed it. It'd be a lot better if I could fucking fix up the... my goddamn setup. My light boxes. They're not set up well. When I was moving, evidently one of my mounting things went walkabout. And so now I can't mount one of them on a wall. It just sort of sits somewhere high, but it's not high enough. No, because it needs to be out from the wall because it's got a plug in the back.
Right.
So yeah, and the other one I used 3M painting mounting things.
Yeah.
Too heavy. It's heavier than a painting apparently. So it fell down, which is annoying. So yeah, there are all these dead spots in my room where I can't actually reach for things. And it's pretty annoying. Yeah.
Sounds like you need a new room.
Or I could just mount my shit correctly.
Yeah.
I bought some... They just use camera mounts. So I jumped on eBay and I bought $4 worth of security camera mounts.
Right.
I'm going to mount them around my room. Not the security cameras, just the mounts.
Cool.
And then I'll plug the things in. You can only, with my version of the Vive, you can only use 2 light boxes anyway, so it's not like I could add some extras into the mix and try to ramp up the fidelity or whatever. I'm sort of stuck with these 2. Yep. Anyway, so actually, with speaking of that, I did try to play another game, in Death. I was going to play Transference.
Yep.
Sorry. Transference, whatever. But you were talking about how it was awkward to use with a mouse. And I was sort of worried that it would be annoying to do with VR setup that has a bunch of dead spots in the room. So I was like, I'll wait until I fixed it and then I'll play Transference.
Yeah. It was annoying to use with a controller.
Right.
Because it was just so slow. Like, there was no... And I don't know if they changed it in the main game, but there was no settings. So you couldn't be like, I want to move quicker. So you just, like, you'd turn around and it'd take you half an hour. It was pretty bad. Anyway. Cool. Should we move on?
Cool. Let's move on.
All right. Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Black Ops 4, still playing this, playing Zombies and Blackout. Still haven't touched the regular multiplayer, even a little bit. I'm just not interested in playing it.
Yeah.
So Zombies. I was playing this last night with a bunch of randos. We played a bunch of games since the last time we played it, and me and Nate are now at a stage where we're extremely competent. The Easter eggs have officially been solved, at least in 9 they have been. And
is there an ending?
Yep, there is.
Cool.
It's like we both watched the video of the world first for it, and we both said at the same time, too hard. It's so difficult. It is so fucking complex. The dude spent the video explaining how to do it was 31 minutes long. And it is insanely involved. There's, I think, like a fair chunk of RNG involved, and yeah, it's like I probably am not going to do that. But the final boss fight stuff looks fucking awesome. So I like maybe one day, but yeah, as it is now, me and Nate are able to carry 2 other scrubber dubs all the way through to, was it 27? I think we got to wave 27. It's pretty tough at that point. You need to be utilizing basically everything at your at hand, and so yeah, it's good. We were playing with Praetorian, our friend Gerald. He's not great at shooters. He's very good at RTSs. He's not very good at shooters. And Champ Shong, who had never played a Zombies before and had no fucking idea what he was doing. And so we were trying to drag those through too, as far as we could. And we got to wave 27, which I think is pretty good because when it gets to 3 or 4 players, it significantly ramps up the difficulty to make it more challenging. So if you were to play it 2-player, if me and Nate were to play it just us 2, we could probably fucking smash out all the way to level 35. But we literally had to carry these other 2. I think Champchong had 29 downs. He was down 29 times.
Yeah.
And we got him back up. We refused to let him die out. Gerald got 26. Nate got 8, and I got 6. And he got 30 something. Nate got something like 30 plus revives, and I got whatever the difference was. Neither of the other 2 revived either of us at all. Or anyone else at all. So yeah, we literally carried them through as far as we could. And yeah, you get to a point where you are like, knowledge allows you to get away with shit that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. Knowing that you can upgrade your gun and cycle through until you get an effect on the weapon that you want. I still don't 100. I understand most of them. There's brain rots, which is the green one,
right,
make zombies attack one another.
Okay,
that's fucking awesome if you can get it on the right zombies.
Yeah.
If you can affect the right zombies with it, it's fucking hugely powerful, and it takes a lot of the fucking strain off your team. There's a freezing one that slows them all. There's a firebomb, and that I'm not 100%
Is that damage
sure.
over time or something like that?
It is, but I can't work out what the proc is for it. Whether it's just a super low proc, or if it's on reload or what. Because I had it on I had that double-barreled machine gun.
Yeah, the
zombie specific one, and I had it on that and upgraded twice. I think it has 600 bullets a clip, so you never need to reload the fucking thing as it is.
Yeah,
And so it would proc, and then I just wouldn't see it proc for ages. And it didn't necessarily proc when I reloaded either. I don't know how it worked necessarily.
I think it's all the time. It works like the cryo one, because the cryo one procs
Constantly.
every bullet.
Yeah. No, I don't think it did though. I was definitely noticing a distinctly different effect when it did proc.
Yeah.
That's what was confusing me. And shit wasn't burning up, which was made things hard. There's an electric one as well, and I have only seen other people with it. I haven't actually had it myself, so I don't really know how that one works. I've been playing a bunch of that. I played a bunch of it yesterday with randoms, just with
matchmaking.
Just queued, matchmaking, and I got a bunch of people who had made it to rank 10. And had no idea what they're doing. They were just in it to kill some waves of zombies and see how far they could get. And over the course of it, we started out and I was typing to tell them what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But around wave 15, they were like, "Oh yeah, we've never made it past 16." And around wave 15, it was way too hectic for me to be. I was having to do a lot to keep them all alive. So I couldn't be stopping and typing every now and then.
Okay.
So I'm like, fuck it, I'll voice chat. But yeah, they were super cool. They called me Gap, which I wasn't huge on. That's clearly a clan tag. And it didn't overwhelm me with confidence in their abilities. But yeah, they're like, oh yeah, at one point they're like, oh yeah, Gap knows where we need to go next. Just follow Gap. And 7 waves later, when I decided to start using my mic, I've jumped on, and they're like, "Oh, have you got a mic, Gap?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's Joby." And they're like, "What? A Joby mic?" And I'm like, "Fucking hell! Oh my god, they might actually be."
Is this Australians you're playing with?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Am I being punked or something?
They didn't have clan tags on or anything like that.
No.
Maybe just new.
Maybe.
And they just like zombies.
Well, they spent the whole fucking game talking about, oh yeah, I don't know if they should have gotten rid of Juggernog and blah blah blah. So they've clearly played zombies games before. They clearly have some fucking idea of how zombies works. Just no idea how clan tags works. Anyway, eventually we got over that hump. I showed them because I was typing. I didn't tell them how to do the challenges, so none of them did any of the challenges at the start, which put them in a bit of a spot until I solo killed all of the challenges in the temples, and then I literally led them by the nose down to the Pack-a-Punch and showed them how to use the Pack-a-Punch. And then, we were able to, they had upgraded weapons, so they weren't as fucked anymore. And then I showed them how to make the brazen ball, the shield, and and then when I realized that we weren't really going to make it that deep, and when I saw that I had, I think 23,000 more points than any of them, I'm like, fuck, I just started going into the mystery boxes, and I was just cycling through them until I got what I wanted. One of them had the homunculus, which is the grenade you throw out, and it drops a little voodoo doll, and the voodoo doll stabs, draws all the zombies in, and then stabs them all.
Right.
And it's super good. It's a great fucking holy shit button. And so I was trying to get that, or I was trying to get the scorpion.
Yep.
The scorpion weapon, and I managed to get the scorpion weapon, and that thing's fucking bananas.
Yeah.
It fucking shreds. So. Yeah, I just have making my own fun. We got to 24 before I went down first, and they all died trying to get to me. Bow.
So all this endgame content, is it doing the stuff that we were trying to do last week with the doing all the challenges and getting the urn and putting it in the middle and collecting souls and killing all the big dudes? Is that sort of what you need to do to get to the end, or we were fucking way off?
No, we were on the right track.
Yeah.
We were not even close to where we needed to be. There was... So you do all that. We were like... That's about halfway. And then shit gets well out of hand, basically.
Can I ask? Can I jump in? The thing on the bottom left, like the blight or whatever it was called on 9, is that got to do with it? Remember you press tab and there's like a little icon, like a giant icon circle with little nodes in it? Yeah, okay. And so you figured out what that is?
No, I watched the video and it explains it. To give you an idea of what you need to do, like just a step in the right direction, you need to get an axe wielder dude to throw an axe and at you, but you're hiding behind one of those big pyres in the main arena.
Yeah, the like wooden things that are on fire or whatever.
Yeah, and that chops off a piece of wood. And you grab that piece of wood, and then you roast that piece of wood in, I think it's underneath Odin's temple.
Sure.
And then you take that and you put it in a bowl, and you put that bowl in the blood room in, I want to say Zeus's temple. And then you got to mix in some other shit. There's a skull on on one of the bricks in the Pack-a-Punch room. There's a slightly bluer skull, and you have to find that brick, and then you have to use your Q, your special power, to pop that brick out, and then you can grab that brick, and you do all this shit, and then eventually, and each time you do any of this shit, you have to survive 2 or 3 waves while it like cooks or like brews or whatever the fuck. You have to like do all this and survive 3 waves. And and then by the time you've finished doing all of that, you take an acid concoction and you put it on a discolored part of the ground in the green temple. I can't remember the name of it. And that teleports you to another dimension where you then have to fight off a bunch of waves, but then there's another like part where there's like a statue or like a fucking pillar, and when you activate the pillar, it shows up these symbols, and each symbol coincides with a different elements that a zombie can mutate into. And depending on the order, bottom to top, you have to kill one of those zombies in that order. So it could be like a acid zombie, and then a flame zombie, and if you fuck up the order, then you're done. And if a flame zombie dies because it gets too close to one of you and just explodes, that fucks up the order as well. So there's all these different ways, and that's just one of the temples.
Yeah, right. That sounds awesome. That sounds so cool. It's like a weird,
insane,
like a raid in a.
But there's no raid that has ever been as complicated as this.
Yeah. What about Destiny? Destiny had some weird shit, right?
Not even close, though. Right? Like not even close. But yeah, like in the same, I guess.
That sounds awesome. That they figured out like the problem we were running into was the damage drop off towards the 30s where we felt like we weren't doing damage. Is that something you can fix?
There's no solution. You have to
do it quickly.
Like the world first finished it in like wave 32 or something, I think.
Yeah, okay, so
and you basically just have to combine the different like modifiers on the weapons to shred shit as opposed to just powering through shit from then on.
Yeah. All right. No, fair enough. As long as we just weren't shit.
We weren't using everything to the best of our abilities, I guess, but we were. Yeah. It gets really, really tough eventually.
That sounds awesome. So has anyone figured out the other maps yet, like Titanic or?
I don't know. I'm keen to check it out, but I haven't been looking.
Yeah, I'm keen to. Well, I feel like we're not going to be playing it for a while.
Maybe not.
But I jumped in and played one game of Blackout over the last week with you guys.
You did.
You were like, come on, just one game. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm baking cookies or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we won.
And we won. Yeah. And that leads me to my blackout bit, I guess. I have not had a lot of wins. I've not had a lot of wins over the last week.
Like, I've been busy. Been very busy. I can't carry everybody.
Without the carry. Superman's been dead. And fucking Batman over here, that's me, I'm Batman, has had to team up with... imagine there was, like, not the Justice League, but worse than the Justice League.
Like the Suicide Squad.
Oh, worse than the Suicide Squad. But not as bad as the Suicide Squad movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Yeah, so I've been, like, playing with just whoever's around, basically. And Nathan asked me, because Nathan rage quit at one point. We had a pretty rough one last night. I put up a video of it on my Twitter. You can have a look at it. Me and Questa X and Nate and Praetorian Gerald are playing together, and I snipe someone. Sorry, Questa X snipes someone on the back of on a ATV, like off an ATV rather, I guess. So he shoots them off the ATV, and then I come in with the next shot and take out the other guy on the ATV, and then Gerald uses his rocket launcher to explode Nate, independent of all of this action. And I don't react very well to it, because how are you supposed to react? Anyway, Nate was like saying, I don't understand how you can play with people who are bad. Because I'd been playing with Gerald since, like, I think 5:30, right? And that happened at, like, 10 o'clock. We'd been playing together for a while at that point.
Yeah.
And so I've been playing with him all week, and, like, I'd played with Bunny McBeef, who jumped in, and it took him like 8 attempts to work out how to wingsuit. And Nathan is just he can't wrap his head around the concept. And I was like trying to work it out, but I actually really like playing with people who don't know what they're doing, but you can watch them learn. You can like see them actively getting better over the course of a game. It reminds me of back in PUBG days when Raisty used to jump in, and Raisty would always declare that he was like the weak link of our squad, and like he didn't want to like be a burden, and he'd fuck up and all this kind of stuff. But you could actually chart his ability, his like progression as a player over the course of playing with us, and like until it got to a point where like he and I like won games together. We were like pretty regularly doing well in games together, and I think that's what I like, right? I like it when you can see that it's not my path to progression. I'm not getting better.
No.
I'm probably getting worse, because a lot of the stupid shit that I'd never get away with, because when I'm playing with you, I absolutely get away with it because we're all too busy concentrating on how Gerald's fucked up this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what I like, is that like, yeah, you get to watch people, and like I'm trying to walk through people through how to play, and just like that active helping sort of shit. It's very similar to zombies, in my opinion. The only problem is when someone doesn't learn. And I think Gerald has that problem. Like, Praetorian doesn't fucking learn. He doesn't, he starts at 0, and I think he might still be at 0. He still makes all the same stupid mistakes. He does all the same shit. He's still, like, actively going out to try to clean up kills when he should be staying in cover, or he will stop dead on the spot and like just stand and deliver at a motherfucker like in the open while he's trying to shoot someone down when he should probably be, I don't know, moving at all, and like stuff like that, right? Like, and that's pretty frustrating. I just have to work out how the fuck I can explain to him like how to get better. When I say we didn't have many wins, we had some wins. We had some good ones. Yeah, like some fucking proper clutch outer armor. I think that's like, I feel like I haven't had armor at all. It's my biggest complaint now. Like, currently my biggest complaint with Blackout is that I need to rework armor. Because the pace of the game is such that you absolutely want to be moving at all times. Sure. You want to be aggressive and taking fights where you can. But it just... having armor the way it is right now too heavily favors...
camping. Or not engaging.
Yeah, not engaging at all. And it too heavily favors people who get circle blessed. And if you get circle fucked and you have to take a couple of fights along the way, and you're all running into the edge of the circle... I had like 3 fucking games in a row all end on the lighthouse. And I had to swim like the last portion. And anyone who started near the lighthouse is just fucking bingo bango. Thanks to the fucking wind, baby, because we can just watch as these idiots try to clamber their way up off the fucking beach when they've already lost all their armor, and they're trying to shoot into because I did not see a single fucking crate land in the water. So generally the crate will aim to land on land. So yeah, everyone who's like started near there is just fucking blessed with crates with level 3 with the best weapons, and you're like paddling in like a fucking idiot with your garbage, and you're like, "Oh, I came down from Hydro. What's going on, guys?" And yeah, and then you fucking cop a fucking 50 cal bullet to the brain. You're like, "Oh, cool." 3rd place. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's been like one of the focuses I've been working on is kind of like, even if you know you're not going to knock somebody, like shredding their armor is a big deal, because if something happens in a late game and you've got to move towards them or they've got to move towards you, then you've got an advantage if they've got no armor. And that becomes a big deal. Like, it doesn't really matter how many times like you get hit in a normal game, because you can just sit there and heal up. Like, you've got 30 bandages, 2 trauma kits, and a bunch of med kits or something like that. That stuff's fine. It's the armor you got to worry about. And if you can pick some decent shots off at other players and slowly chip away their armor, then that's massive at endgame. So usually I'll try and do that. It's not like we're PUBG where sometimes you're like, "Oh, I'm not going to get the kill, so there's no point really shooting." Whereas in this, it's like, "Oh, I'm not going to get the kill, but at least I'm getting rid of their resource." So I think that's the different way they kind of play it.
So a good suggestion I saw from Ben Green, who works at ESL Australia, was that you would grab those armor plates and actively use them to repair armor. And
that's what we talked about last week.
Yeah, like it's a healing, not like, I don't know. I had a different idea, and so when I saw his version of it, I sort of, oh yeah, cool. But I tweaked it again. I wrote a story on Red Bull on how I think they can fix it, on how they can fix Blackout. And so I think it'd be really good if it had like armor slots, like the guns, and you put those plates into those slots. And that way you could lose those slots and it'd still have a nominal amount of health after it was destroyed from the slot, so you could still repair a mostly wrecked piece of armor.
Sure.
And you've still got like level 1, level 2, and level 3. And level 3 still has a helmet, and it's got 3 slots for armor. And so there's a lot to be gained there. But then you'd also like the other boon was that consumer perk would actually be worthwhile, Because consumer perk is like a shit version of medic at the moment. But if consumer also allowed you to apply armor faster, like fucking all bets are off. That'd be fucking fantastic. It'd be tough to decide between taking medic and taking consumer, I think, because you might not be able to revive people as quickly, but you would be able to like heal as fast and heal and repair your armor quicker.
Sure.
So, yeah, that was my tweak on that idea. It's just I think that'd be a really good way to fucking tweak it, and to make armor plates worth more than just that single mission.
Right. Yeah. I think it's coming, that change. They've talked about how they're looking into it. And they talked about it during the beta. Like, I think it's still, 2 weeks out of launch, a week and a half. I think it'll come. They've been pretty good in terms of talking to the community. Still, like, every day, like, talking about what they're fixing, what they're looking at, here's all the updates. It's been really good communication from them. I think, and I think that, like, people have been saying that's probably the biggest concern they've got in terms of the gameplay right now. Apart from, like, network infrastructure. So gameplay wise, I think it's the armor situation, and they'll get to it. Like, it doesn't make the game bad at the moment. I think it's still playable. It's just something that will improve it a lot if they can figure out a way to sort of incentivize people to attack or to be aggressive at least. So yeah, it'll be good once they change it, and I think they will.
Yep. Yeah. The other major thing I'd like to see them change is the sound. I think it's scaled incorrectly after a lot of play. That's what I think it is. It's a scaling issue. They've scaled it up from regular size, and now it seems like everything is closer when it's quite distant.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an easy fix, but I know, having visited Treyarch, that it's something that they would want to fix, because the sound studios there are like hefty, and they take a lot of pride in that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're working on that as well. But yeah, we had some good fun games. I worked out that you can wingsuit from anywhere if you press the numpad 3, which is pretty huge. You can use it to run faster than on foot, which means it's kind of a bit broken.
Yeah, I think that's getting changed. I was watching Shroud play the last couple of days, and he's been using it a lot. I think that's going to get changed for sure. That'll be taken out. They'll either make it so that you've got to be a certain distance,
right,
like above the ground or something before you can trigger it, or I don't know. But yeah, that looks broken right now.
Put a stagger on it. Put a stagger on fucking up a landing. That's, I think, the best. Like, if you pop it and you don't, like, I don't know, fix yourself up before you land. Although that might also be a bit tricky. You might wind up with a bunny hopping situation where people find a way to exploit it, but you need a perfect amount of, like, movement or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you can bunny hop still in this.
Can you?
Yeah, you can do it. I was doing it during the beta, and it's still in the main game from what I saw. You can't look forward. You've got to be you've got to be facing sideways quite a lot.
Right.
But you definitely, like, usually if you jump, it'll do that, like, slow you down a little bit. But the way I've had it going, you could easily keep moving.
Right.
Maybe I should do a video or something of sort of showing it when I get back into it.
Maybe you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else? Just, like, basically played it all day on Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
It was just, like, it was a lot of fun. Like, yeah. Over the course of the day, you could actively see, like, Bundy McBeef worked out how to wingsuit, and the level of play, like, skyrocketed from there. Like, he was no longer, I feel like it maybe impacted his confidence early on. He felt like he was fucking us up, because he was fucking us up. We had, like, three or four fucking hot drops at firing range in a row, where we were landing way late because he couldn't work out how to wingsuit. And we were like, okay, so we'll go to Asylum on the other side of the... Okay, it looks like we're going to firing range, and it looks like everyone else already has guns. Boy. Once he worked it out, we were kicking ass, and it was awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just... It's good fun. I had a good one yesterday. I killed some streamers, some like Aussie esports streamers. They're not like shooter players, I believe. They're casters, and yeah, I we landed at Asylum, and I was the only one who actually made it to Asylum. The other guys died at Rivertown, so I'm like, fuck it. I was alone with a full squad at Asylum, and so I grabbed the auto shotgun and a submachine gun. But by the time I got to them, all the ammo was gone. So there's the ammo in the guns themselves.
Okay, at least that's handy.
Yeah, and so I rolled in, and so I was basically just stalking them around. Like, they didn't know that there was a fifth person in there because I'd landed just short of Asylum, and so they must have been like, nobody landed here, we're all good.
Yeah.
And so I sort of crouch ran all the way through Asylum, just sort of like a stealth mission, like sneaking up, and then I get close enough, one of them would like walk past my door, and I just fucking sprint out behind them, and like I ended one, and then I went to end a second one, and I ran out of bullets in my shotgun, which was good. I finished all my kills, but I ran out of bullets on my shotgun, and he was still alive, so I think he'd got the zombie crate. And so I switched to my submachine gun, and I'd already used half the ammo on that, so I had no ammo. And when you dry fire with two weapons at once, it does not switch to fists. It switches between the weapons constantly. I think if you've got like auto switch weapon when out of ammo, that's a setting you can have.
Right.
If you've got two weapons without ammo, you'll just switch between weapons.
Oh, really?
That's what happened to me. So that was pretty fun. So I just stood there switching weapons while he shot me in the face. Yeah, but that was good. It's good fun. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying it. I will continue to play it until I have something else to play.
Yeah. And I was every time I'd look, there was people in the chat, and I'm just like, man, I do want to jump in and play some. Yeah, I'm just like, I just can't. I'm just too busy with Red Dead. But when I did jump in for that one game, I was very surprised that we did. I was like, I'll play a game till we win, and then we won that one game. It was like, all right, my work here is done. Back
we were on the precipice. I think I can't remember who had been playing. Was it Kleb and Liam? I think, and like we were real close to getting the win. I think in that game previous, I think we'd come like second or third.
Yeah.
It's just one of those ones. Like, I find that there's like a fucking keystone to success, and if that keystone fails, the whole bridge fails. And yeah, I don't know, I've been feeling like our sole keystone in a lot of games, like if I die, then our team will die, and we won't get the win. And if I manage to survive and we can keep everyone alive, then yeah. And so yeah, in that game just before, we were like already down by one person, and then you jumped in, and too easy.
Yeah, it was me, you, Kleb, and Gav. So that's a competent team.
Wasn't it Drew and Gav? I'm pretty sure it was Drew and Gav.
Was it?
Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, probably actually.
I think Kleb and Liam left.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and Drew jumped in.
Yeah, you might be right actually.
But yeah, it was a classic PUBG team.
Yeah, and it was one of those ones where it's like, fuck, we got like, nobody was sort of in the circle at the last moment. It was, we all had to move, and we had to go like down a fucking hill while being attacked from guys like from a river that had cover, and then some guys on our left that were in a house, like a 2-story house that had come out, and then we were, I think you got into like the gas station, and somehow a dude had come up behind us, like he looped all the way around, and so like I'm getting pinged from behind, Gav's getting pinged, and like
Yeah.
all of a sudden it just sort of fell together somehow.
Yeah, we got. Yeah, we pulled some shit out. I think we didn't. I don't want to say we got lucky. I think I died before the end. That was the game, right? Down on the riverbank.
I don't think you died. I thought we were all alive at the end.
Near factory. No, I'm pretty sure I died.
Right.
Because I remember like being annoyed because if I had the fucking paladin and I just whiffed like 6 shots in a row. I'm like, if I'd hit any of them, this wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't be dead. I was so mad at myself.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look. I thought that you were alive. I strictly remember Gavin was there because he was running next to me and he kept running into me. And I'm like, what are you doing? Stop running into me. What are you even over here for? And I thought you were in the supermarket or the gas station shooting behind. Anyway.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I was thinking of another game. What was the other... Oh, yeah. We had a draw. We got a draw. Nice. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I put the video up in the Discord channel. It is spectacular. I believe it was Johnny Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Bravo, we're in construction. It ends in construction, and we are like it ends on the garage at construction. All like the entire lead up beforehand was fucking awesome. The amount of people who like rushed. I was dead. I'd been dead for fucking ages at this point. I believe it was Liam, Johnny Bravo, and maybe Racy. Maybe Bundy McBeef. I'm not sure. I've been dead for a while. And they were just fucking slaying motherfuckers as these people tried to run into construction. And it was fucking... They went huge. Anyway, they had to go down to the garage from the top part of construction. And the circle was definitely ending on construction. And at one point, fucking JB just starts hammering E. He's just like throwing all his fucking equipment, like everything he's got. He's got like flashbangs, Molotov, grenade, and then it cycles through the grapple gun, and he's still looking there, and he aims and he shoots at the spot where he's just throwing a fucking arsenal of explosives, and like he zips in, and he is like fucking, I don't know, 5 meters short of landing on top of all these explosives, and they all come like blow up like it's a fucking Michael Bay movie, and then he lands and he murders everyone, and he's standing on top of this circle, and the last people alive are another level down, and so they just stand in the center of the circle and start fucking healing as fast as they can.
Right.
And it turns out that like at some point you're not able to heal anymore.
Okay.
The game must just stop you from being able to heal, I guess, which I don't really agree with. But yeah, in the final circle, you just can't heal, and so they ended on a draw. It's one of those places where if you had Outlander, you would have had a win.
Maybe. Yeah, I wonder
100%.
if that's to try and force people to not camp.
Yeah, I guess.
To engage in that last fight. But if you get to a point where it's like Nuketown, and like it's 2 levels, someone's in the bunker, and somebody's like on the top, then what do you do type thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day as well, it's like, fuck, you kind of don't want to win a game that way either. Like,
no.
Surviving up top because you had more heals, or you knew when to press the heal button. Like in PUBG, right? You can't heal when you're 100%. So if you're in a team, the smart thing to do would be to shoot somebody in the leg, get below that threshold, and then have them pop a heal off earlier, because then they've survived longer.
Chunk over, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like weird fucking tactics about knowing the intricacies of like the game of how it works, and not really. I don't know. I'm fine with a draw. I think that's, it's fine.
Still technically number 1, right?
Yeah, but it's, I don't know. Maybe it should have like a fucking, it beams you up to like a deathmatch arena, and it's
gets rid of all your weapons,
it's just
whatever health you're currently on, and it's a punch on.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Fixed it
in a circle that slowly shrinks. So if you like dodge away, you're back into the circle and you take a bunch of damage anyway.
Yeah,
that's fucking amazing. That's a genius idea.
Yeah,
perfect.
There you go. Fixed Call of Duty. What next?
Too easy. Next is Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, man. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Nice shirt, you sellout.
I know, right?
Fucking.
Move my wads of cash.
Can't see it, listeners, but he's wearing a Red Dead Redemption shirt.
Yeah.
He's a huge sellout.
So what we're going to do is...
a grey affair.
It's just the same shirt from last week, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, you changed it because it was stained. Is that right?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of grey shirts, actually. I've got shitloads of grey shirts.
Like Batman, just like 40 grey shirts.
That's it, yeah.
Or Superman. Yeah, so what we're going to do for the video podcast is I've recorded about an hour and 15 minutes worth of content, and I'll slap that on to this bit you're watching now, and you're just going to watch it. It's not anything to do with the story, the main story, because I am 70, maybe 80 hours into the game. It is purely just me roaming around. I try and do a couple of side content stuff, but along the way things just happen, and I do get to a point where I get to a town and I'm like, I'm going to do this mission over here, and then change my mind because it's a town that sort of unlocks a bit later on, and I don't really want to sort of spoil what's going on there. So then I go back to Valentine.
Right,
which is
so that's a Valentine is where I would have spoken about in my preview, and you would have spoken about in your 3-hour preview, and that's the first town that you get to.
Yeah, so I wander around Valentine. This is about 30 minutes in, and then I go up north into the Grizzlies where the snow is, and that's kind of the starting area. And I do a bit of wandering around there, and then I come back down, and all up it's about 195 minutes, 60, 78, maybe 80, 85 minutes worth of uncut gameplay. But it's not purely indicative of the main game. It's just me running around
in the world.
And shit happen. And things happen in that game that I have not seen before. So that's kind of cool, which is awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
How am I going to watch it?
You'll have to watch the podcast, I guess. Get us those clicks. Or you can play it. By the time it goes up.
This is fucking bullshit.
I can say
this is fucking bullshit.
I can upload it. You can sit there and watch me be terrible.
Do it.
So Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, so if you want to watch...
Hang on, you're not going to upload it now?
Not right now while I'm watching.
I have to sit here like a chump while everyone else gets to watch.
I don't know how big
I have to listen to you talk.
Let me check how big it is. It's 13 gigabytes at the moment, so I've got to fix it up.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
The other thing is at 1080p. It's not. I didn't record it at 4K, and it's not in HDR, obviously. So, but it still gives you an idea of what's going on. Just random.
What's even the point?
Yeah. What's the point?
Hey,
yeah. So
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Of Arthur Morgan.
Arthur Morgan. It's 1899. It's sort of the end of the year.
The turn of the century.
It's the end of the Outlaws.
Do it in a cowboy voice.
No, I'm not doing it in a cowboy voice.
Just do something in a cowboy voice.
No. Howdy.
That's terrible. Say there's a snake in my boot.
There have been 0 snakes in any of my boots.
You don't? Do you have own boots?
Yeah, I got boots.
Go and get them.
Oh no, I thought in the game I've got boots.
Fucking, that's what I'm talking
It's crazy. So yeah, it's 1899. It's sort of the end of the Outlaws. Sort of all the gangs are being hunted down, and they're really on the run now. And Arthur's gang, or the gang that Arthur's a part of, is really on the run, and they're kind of down to their scraps and really scrounging for resources to keep themselves going. And that's sort of where the game opens up. And we played, you played the first 6 hours a couple weeks back, and got to experience the start of that game. And it's yeah, man, it's really good, that start. The opening of...
It is a good start.
I like the title screen, especially the sort of giving you an idea of what is going on. It's so fucking good. And sort of you're in the Grizzlies where everything's snowy, it's getting cold, and they've been sort of run out of this one of the towns that they've done this last robbery on, and they're just trying to survive in the cold. Things aren't going well. Fucking the protagonist from Red Dead Redemption is not doing very well. John Marston is... You kind of find out how he gets that scar that's on his face. So this is obviously a prequel to Red Dead Redemption that's set before that time. which is another thing that's really cool. So you get to interact with some of the characters from that story as well, and the main protagonist from that game, who's in this actually quite a lot. And so the game starts off in you really learning a lot of these mechanics, and the first maybe 3 or 4 hours is set in this snowy mountain range where it's extremely funneled. Like, it's taking you through all of the like a bunch of the simple mechanics about hunting and how to use Deadeye, looting people, learning how to use your horse. Like, it's not an open world game at that stage. It's very linear, and it's sort of guiding you through this experience of what this world is going to be about, and which is chapter 1.
It lasts about 90 minutes, yeah?
It's maybe 2 hours, maybe 3, depending on how quickly you go through it.
No way it's 3. Holy shit.
I don't know. Could be.
How, like, were you using that, the cinematic camera thing I was talking about?
Yeah.
Did you use that?
Yeah.
I was talking about, in my preview, I just, whenever we were riding anywhere, switched to cinematic camera, hold X, and it'd do the riding for you.
Sure.
I guarantee you that speeds up a lot of that starting phase, at least, because it is so linear. Like, everyone listening, do that. Like, whatever, I think it's the back button on Xbox. Do that to skip through a lot of that early phase. Like, obviously, draw it in, take it in. But, yeah, I 100% think you could, like, just sort of blast through it so you can get to the portion of Red Dead that they spent 5 years creating, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I don't know if it speeds it up, but I guess that's something you can test. Yeah, and just, like, the starting in that area is really cool. We talked about it in the preview, but just the sort of way that you interact with the snow, like the lighting in the game is phenomenal. It really, especially on 4K HDR, like, it looks ridiculously good. Like the sun sort of beaming through the trees, off of like sunsets, things like that. It really sets a level of detail that we don't see in a lot of games. And I think that like, you can make a game look really good, but the moment that you stick an awesome lighting engine in there, fucking looks insane. Which is really interesting because you look at what Nvidia's doing with their latest graphics cards, and lighting is like one of their biggest focuses for this new graphics card. I think it's going to change the way games look quite a lot, because the way that Red Dead Redemption looks it's insane. It looks so good. So yeah, once you sort of get the idea of some basic mechanics, and one of the big deals in the game is like the interact button, which you hold down a trigger on PlayStation 4. It's L2, and you can look at things and interact with them. If it's a person, it'll be being able to talk to them, and maybe it could be like greeting them or antagonizing them, robbing them, completing, like, accepting quests off them or accepting money. There's things in the environment you can look at and either pick them up, interact with them. You can use it to look at your horse. You can use it to feed them, brush them, change, like, different types of interactions in the game, which is unique, because normally when you press that button in most games, it's I aim my gun at somebody, and that's, especially in a shooter, and that's not what that button is in this game. It's your interact, but you also do use it to shoot at people, and so you hold down that trigger button, and if you want to draw your weapon out, that's when you hit your R2, and that's what pulls the gun out, and then you can start aiming at things, and it's an interesting way of sort of approaching, like, I don't have to shoot at everything. Like, this is my interact button, and I can talk to people, I can threaten them, or I can try and defuse a situation. Maybe they've pulled their gun out, or maybe I'm being robbed and I want to surrender, but then they're going to come and rob me, and I will pull my gun out and shoot them, which is something that happens in the video later on that you'll see, because I got robbed for the second time, I think.
Right.
Yeah, and so, like, the way that they've sort of done that type of mechanic is really interesting and cool. So, yeah, once you get to chapter 2, that's when you start in Valentine, and that's when the game really opens up, and it's an open world experience from now on. And what's really unique about it is, and it's something that you touched on a couple of weeks back, is you've got main missions in the game, and they're indicated on the map as a yellow marker. It'll have like the initials of whose quest it is, and you can go do that mission if you want, or you can just roam around in the world and explore. And for the majority of the time, there will be no indicators on the map like of things in the area to do. It'll just be you riding around and exploring, and sometimes there'll be a marker that comes up and it's like a question mark. It's like, hey, there's something in this area. Maybe if you want to go, you can go check that out. And as you get close and start walking around, then you might be able to find the thing it's talking about. Other times it could be you on a road and a person is calling out for help or trying to get your attention, and then they'll show up as like a white marker on the map. Other times you might have like initiated a side mission and it'll show up on the map as like, hey, here's an area over here you might want to go look at, and that'll be like the only time that there's actually something on the map that it's like, oh, I can go up the top left hand corner over here and go do that thing. Really, the only other time that there's something on the map is during those main missions, or if you've been given something to go look at later on. Like, hey, go up to this part of the map, and that'll trigger the next part. Otherwise, the rest of it is all exploration and running around and discovering things for yourself and triggering these events and strangers and random encounters that happen in the world. And I think it works well in some games, like I think Spider-Man is one we played recently, where there's stuff on the map and you can go and collect it, and like it shows you on the map where all this stuff is. I think it works well in games like that, but in certain games I think it can become overwhelming, specifically like Assassin's Creed is one that we played.
That's the one we were talking about, right?
Recently, yeah. And I think that if like the contrast of like how Red Dead does it compared to Assassin's Creed, where you just look at the map and it's like, I'm so overwhelmed with all this stuff that is here. I really don't know what I should be doing first. Yeah. It can become, overwhelming.
Did you get around to turning on exploration?
No, because I haven't played it since then.
Right, yeah. Like, I think, like, if that should be the default. That should be the only game mode, in my opinion. Like in Assassins, it is quite comparative. Still more, I think, than Red Dead, but like it's compared to the Assassins you're used to. It is so decluttered, and it's so freeing. It's like that burden is lifted to do everything, to go everywhere, to look at everything.
Yeah,
right. And it's something that, I didn't realize until I had played Red Dead how, overwhelming, like you said, like how overwhelming it can be. But
with Assassins, the thing that they've got going is that it's an experience tree, right? And you're earning experience. So you wanting to go out and do these certain things is like the grind, right, of it.
Yeah.
Whereas in Red Dead, there's no experience. I mean, there's your cores, which you level up for doing certain things in the world. Yeah.
How quick did you level up stamina?
I think I've maxed it out.
But how quick did you max it?
I think it took a while. I don't know off the top.
I was one blip away from maxed stamina in my play session.
There's different levels of stamina, you know that, right?
Oh, does it tick up further? Because I could fucking swim for ages. I could sprint for ages. My guess is that it was ramped up for the previous
Maybe.
session. So
you've got 3 cores in the game. There is stamina, health, and Deadeye. And while you're doing certain things in the world, you start getting like points for these cores. And I think I actually don't know. Each level is worth a certain amount of points. It's not 100. It's sometimes it could be 100, but when I went into options, it's like 592 points, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Anyway, so you start earning like levels, and it's like level 1 Deadeye gives you these abilities, and level 2 Deadeye is now improved a little bit. Now you can see you'll be able to target your enemies as opposed to just it'll just randomly paint them as you move your cursor over it.
Right,
and then like level 6 or whatever is, you can see highlighted areas on the body where you'll do the most amount of damage. Like these are vital organs, and so each time you level up, it's sort of like
in the brain, maybe in the brainstem.
Yeah, and so you can start using that for hunting as well. So it'll show you like on an animal where the heart is, or where the head is, if you're a bit not with it. So yeah, you actually, I'm still leveling up Deadeye at this stage. I'm pretty close to getting there, but the other two, I'm pretty sure that I have max stamina and health.
Right.
The other one is horses. You'd level up your horses, like your bonding level.
Your horses have 3 cores, or
horses.
So they've got stamina and health, right?
Stamina and health. Yeah, that's all they've got.
Okay.
And so you can you can level up your bonding with them, and that allows you to do different maneuvers. Like I can now do a skid turn, or a fast stop. It's not called a fast stop, but yeah.
Do you have like a maxed out horse?
I got 3 horses at the moment. The horses have different attributes for like how quickly they can run, and I think there's 2 levels, like speed and some other shit. I can't remember off the top of my head. But
carrot eating,
yeah. And so I've got a horse that's like 2 bars off the max for both. So I'm guessing there's maybe like another horse out there that I can go get, but otherwise, yeah, got a level 4 bonding on that. It doesn't take long, and
is level 4 bonding best friends?
They sing together.
They sing,
duets,
harmonizing.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
So can you do dressage?
Yeah.
You know, that's that weird fucking horse walking shit.
I don't think so.
You're supposed to. At max bonding with your horse, you're supposed to be able to do dressage with it.
Yeah, maybe you can. I haven't, like, that's not a thing I'm curious to do. I'm busy robbing banks and shit. What'd you just turn off? You fan?
I don't know what I did. Oh, I tell you. What is that? We're back.
Yeah. So yeah, the whole idea of just going out in the world and exploring it, and things happening to you on the way, is really cool. And I think a lot of open world games like Assassin's Creed could really learn something. I think Skyrim did a pretty good job, like something similar where you would just be running around and just random shit would happen to you. That's really cool, and I think they've taken a lot of inspiration from games like that.
It goes back to Fallout, right? Yeah. Like it obviously goes back to CRPGs of old.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go anywhere with it, like the old school games where you had like the very separate open world navigation style. Like in Fallout, you had the map, and you would like sort of path the thing, and you'd roll a million dice to see if you had a random encounter along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And that random encounter would be on a separate map, you know, and stuff like that. And eventually we got to the point where, you know, we could have Morrowind, you know, having... I don't think there were... I think there were truly random encounters, but most of the encounters in Morrowind were generally scripted. And now we're getting to a point where there are scripted encounters that are randomly generated. You know?
Sure. Yeah.
And the next step is random encounters that are randomly generated.
Right, yeah.
Where, you know, someone walks into frame and they're like, and then they walk away again. You're like,
what the fuck?
Or they're like, holds up spork. That is truly random.
Yeah.
You know, holds up spork copy pasta. You know the one I'm talking about?
No.
Just call this episode Holds Up Spork.
Okay. We'll do that.
Perfect.
The other thing that I like that it does is...
No, call it Red Dead Revengeance.
Okay.
Right. Sorry.
I'm
the other thing you like.
So the other thing I like about it is that the side missions, like your stranger missions, or just the things that you come across in the world, there are multiple paths to some of this stuff. So depending on how you approach it, they can play out quite differently. For instance, like one that I came across maybe 2 nights ago was some guys that sort of just jumped out of the woods and had like prison uniforms on, and they were chained up, and they're like, "Hey, can you help us out?" type thing. And so I shot like the locks off their chains and let them free. And then later on, I came across them, and they were set up, and they were like at a campfire somewhere, and there were like wanted posters up for them. And they were like, "Can you go take down our wanted posters?" And then so I'd go and do that, and I'd come back, and like just the way that these things sort of keep coming back, and the story progresses as you keep going, and depending on what you do, I'm really curious of how that sort of evolves. Like, what happens if I just fucking murdered both those guys? That thing ends, or like I could go, if I wanted to, I could take down the wanted posters, go back, and then either hog tie them up and take them to the sheriff, or tell the sheriff that they're out there. Like, just different ways you can approach those missions, and then how that would sort of trickle down and branch off into something completely different, I think is really cool. Because a lot of that stuff does seem to branch out, and things that, like, you'll do a mission, and it's like, it's not really over yet. It'll tell you in the game, like, they'll come back later on, or something like that. And you'll just run into them 2 or 3 hours later.
One I heard you talking about was a woman trapped under a horse.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
And she got grumpy with you, right? Because you didn't help her on the horse fast enough?
Right. So, yeah, there was one where I was pretty close to start, and she was trapped under a horse, and I'd been doing some hunting at that stage. And the way hunting works is you skin animals, and some of them you can just lay on the back of your horse, you can stow them away. And then if you want to put a carcass on the back, you also throw that on the back, and sort of it takes up a slot. And so this woman is trapped on the side of the road under this horse. It like just collapsed on her. And I go and I rescue her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm too far out of town. Can you take me back to Valentine?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, alright, so now I've got to take this carcass off the back of the horse." But I'm still processing like what is going on at this stage. Like, oh, what am I supposed to do? And so I eventually take the carcass off the back of the horse. And by that stage, she's gotten grumpy with me and just been like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll walk myself," and just sort of off she went.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I encountered her.
Right.
In my 6-hour playthrough.
Yeah.
And I actually got her back to her house.
Yeah.
And she was pretty grateful because I didn't have a bunch of shit on the back of my horse.
Yeah.
So it didn't really take me any time. But yeah, I wonder like how that version would have played out different. You know, maybe she's got something she wants help with down the road that she doesn't want your help with, you know, but she'd want my help with and stuff like that. You know?
There have been missions like that where a guy comes out of the woods and he's been bitten by a snake, and this will be one of my complaints. And he's kind of like, "Oh, I've been bitten by a snake," and so you suck the venom out of his leg, and then give him some wild turkey or some bourbon or whatever, and off he goes. And then later on, you'll run into him at a town, and he's like, "Oh, this is the guy I was telling you about. He saved my life. You can go to the gun shop and buy whatever you want. It's on me." That sort of stuff has happened a couple of times, and my only one of my complaints about the game is that it's got these random encounters, or these type of events that will happen to you, and it's the things of like running into somebody on the side of the road and then being bitten by a snake, or coming across a carriage that's being held up. And there's only, I think, in the completion list, I think there's 25 listed of these random encounters, and each time you get through one, it sort of ticks up in the game. It says, alright, you've done 1 out of 25, and then 2 out of 25, and it goes up. I hit 25 out of 25 about 30% of my way through the story, which wasn't like, it was still, I don't know, 30 hours into the game or whatever. But I would like either there have to be more of that sort of stuff, or for it to be spread out a little bit more. Because now now that I'm 80 hours into the game, 50 hours ago I saw all that stuff, and now I started repeating some of those things already. Like there's the snake guy, I've seen that happen like 4 or 5 times now, and so that can be, I mean, it's still cool that stuff happens and it's sort of random, but I feel like I've seen it too many times now.
Well, but like you're still seeing new shit though, right?
Yeah, and that's the other thing is that there are these side missions, like there's random shit that is happening. For instance, the video that's playing at the moment, and it's probably still got maybe another 20, 30 minutes left. There's like a moment where I get robbed, and that's only happened to me twice. At this particular stage, I surrender. Like you can come and rob me, and then he comes over. He starts taking my wallet or whatever it is, and then I shoot him in the head, and then I murder all of his friends. That happens, and then there's one stage where I'm getting attacked by wolves. There's a dude I come across who I'm looking for, and he's got like a it's actually part of a side mission, and he gets ambushed by a bunch of guys, and I help him out. And later on, I'm going down a road, and there's a fucking naked man or something in like the bushes who is making weird noises, and I don't know what his deal is, but he runs off, and then all of a sudden, like a bunch of wolves come chasing me. So I got to go back and see what's going on over there. But just like the
Wolfman.
Yeah, like maybe he is a wolfman. Like I've had things, and I don't want to talk about some of the things that have happened to me, but I've had things happen and like, holy fuck, like that is so random. And the fact that I've played 80 hours of this game, and then I'm still having things happening that like side mission stuff or just random things, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like I've not seen that before, and that stuff's really cool. The things that have happened to me like 4 or 5 times, I'm like, that kind of sucks that keeps happening to me, but. Yeah, I don't know how it differentiates between that. Some of that stuff must be random missions, and other stuff must be just like random encounters that are always going to be in the world, like the robberies and the guys asking for help or that sort of thing. So yeah, I just wish there was more of those random encounters, or just it was stretched out a little bit, so that when I wasn't going to like a mission, I didn't come across 4 encounters along the way, which, maybe it shouldn't happen as much. But that's really my only complaint about that random stuff, is that it may be a bit too much. But otherwise, yeah, I love like how there's just so much going on in the world, and it just seems like even though I'm this far into it, I'm just seeing stuff that I've not seen before, and it feels like really organic, of like me going to an area that I haven't explored. Even though, like, the stuff you're seeing in the video, a lot of that is in the starting area, and I just haven't been there yet. Like, the game hasn't had me go to that part. It is now. It's sort of taken me up there at this stage of the game, but it's just, like, interesting that just a lot of that I haven't seen. There's a... did you talk about serial killer stuff during the preview?
I think I
maybe mentioned it?
did on the podcast, but yeah.
There's a serial killer in the game. And it's one of those things you just randomly come across. And, it was close to the starting area. Like, I'd fucking 60, 70 hours in, I was writing down a thing. I was like, what the fuck is that? And that's how that triggered. And I thought it was nuts because it's just something I completely missed. And it's something that anybody could miss, right? Like, you found it in your 6-hour preview. And it took me 70 hours to realize that. It's just that sort of stuff is fascinating, just the way it sort of evolves, and it's one of those things where everybody is going to see different things in the game and experience them in different orders. Because you don't necessarily have to do. I'm sort of playing it like I'm going and doing all the missions that I can. The embargo for this is up. I'm going to try and put this up as soon as we can, which will be Thursday night in Australia, at least. It's basically going up the time that New Zealand has their launch. And I'm pretty sure I'm still got a ways to go, because the game's enormous. Like, it's so big. There's just so much content there. And it's fleshed out so well. The main campaign stuff is extensively big. Like, there is a reason this game is on 2 fucking discs.
Oh yeah, 2 discs is a fucking revelation, isn't it? Like, I don't think anyone fucking knew that, right? I didn't know it beforehand.
Yeah, so there's a data disc. I don't know if anyone can see that. And then there's a second disc, but it's in the game at the moment.
The game disc.
Yeah, there's a game disc. So you put this thing in. It takes an hour and 15 minutes to install. An hour and 15 minutes. Why not?
I'm all digital, baby.
Yeah, it's still 110 gigabytes, I think.
Yeah, it's only going to take me however fucking long to download. It's going to be a good one.
What I will say
I'm hoping
is
we get to preload it soon because fuck.
there is a map that comes with the game in the box, at least. I would suggest don't look at it.
Don't look at it.
No, I don't think you should look at the game map that comes with the disc.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy if you think about it, because the game map in game is covered until you reveal it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy that it's got a map.
Yeah, which is sort of disappointing for me, at least. From what I understand, there was only 4 copies globally that got retail discs. Everybody else got digital codes, but because the game was so big, Rockstar wanted to send out some retail discs in Australia because the infrastructure is not great.
Internet's garbage.
Yeah, but I chose a retail, so I got a retail disc, which was
nice,
super unique. And then I opened it up, and I'm like, oh, there's a map in here. And I looked at map, and I was like, oh god, no, I shouldn't be looking at this map, because I feel like there are things on that map that could potentially spoil some stuff in the game.
Right.
And
it was leaked, right?
It was leaked ways back.
No, but the actual map was leaked.
Right.
And it's... Well, already, I thought that it was pretty close to the leaked map.
Yeah.
But having seen the two now, like the full map, I didn't, study details on it, but I saw the shape of it and stuff. That leaked map was pretty much on point.
Yeah, that leaked map we talked about years and years ago.
Yes.
And it was pretty good. It was on
different
point.
names. It's got different names, but otherwise, yeah.
Yeah. And so if you saw that leaked map, you would probably, there's stuff in there that you don't want to see. So yeah, I'd stay away from that completely as much as you can. There is a companion app.
Oh, is it?
I haven't had a chance to get a hold. It's not out yet, so
right. So you can't.
Yeah, but apparently that has like an in-game map and other functionality tied to the game. Social Club's not online yet, so I haven't played with any Social Club stuff. But yeah, it's on 2 fucking discs. Takes about an hour and 10 minutes to install. The day one patch, I think that's the one everybody's getting. It was about 4 gig, 3.5 gig. Not massive, doesn't take long, so that's good.
Right.
I saw people commenting, being like, "Oh, this is the way all games should be, like on 2 discs, and there shouldn't be 30 gigabyte day one patches." But that's not what this is. This is not like they've stuck the day one patch on here. This is like fucking. This game is just that big that it needed 2 discs.
Enormous. Yeah.
There will be a day one patch. There might. I don't know when the second patch is going to come out. There might be one soon. Like maybe when the game launches. I don't know. But otherwise, it's massive, and there's a reason for that because there's just so much content here. Like it's insane. Rockstar generally don't give out early copies of games. I don't remember the last time I got an early copy for Rockstar for something. It's usually on the day, I feel like. L.A. Noire.
I used to get a week or so early.
Really? Yeah. For the older stuff, but not the GTA.
For Game Arena. Yeah.
You got GTA
early.
I
got GTA 4 early.
Fuck. No, 5.
I got GTA... Well, I think Game Arena had shut down when GTA 5 dropped. But I would have. I probably would have. They will do, but they do the very restricted. Like, you and 3 other motherfuckers get a copy in each region.
Yeah, you know? Right.
They heavily restrict who can get it. Because they are so, I reckon they'd
kill someone.
They would murder you if you leak shit.
Yeah. So this was 10 days in advance, which is huge from now.
That is huge even for that's twice what I would have gone.
Yeah,
you know, for the GTA games and stuff. It's still that is a huge amount of time.
I would have liked,
which is awesome,
longer.
Fuck off!
Because
fuck off, prick.
No,
what a prick!
There is.
How dare he?
I've been playing.
How dare he?
So much.
Oh my god!
So we've talking about I've been playing for a week and I've put in 80 hours, maybe 70 or 80 hours. I'm playing a lot every day. I'm fucking so tired. I'm so tired.
Shut your whore mouth.
And I
oh my god!
I don't think I'm going to finish it by the time like it's out and my review's up.
You have to.
But I've played enough of it to get an idea of my thoughts.
What if there's stuff at the end?
Oh, I'm sure there is. I feel like I'm getting close, but I still feel like I'm a ways off.
Power through.
Especially looking at the map, I'm like, oh my, I haven't even been down to these other areas.
Power through, finish the game, write your review, and I can edit it for you to make it legible. I can edit it back from the brink of nonsense due to sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
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 Hey, I got questions.
Sure.
Alright, were you gonna go down?
I was gonna keep talking, man. I got notes here.
Alright, I want to talk about the weapons.
Sure.
What's the best weapon?
So the way the weapons work is there are stores in the towns that you go buy guns from.
Yep.
And they seem to be locked behind game progress, is my guess, because they
Right.
It doesn't really tell you when things will unlock. It's kind of just you'll be playing and all of a sudden it's like, hey, you should go to the gun shop, new guns are available, or hey, there are new horses at the stable type thing.
Right.
So I don't actually know. Like, I've still got locked guns on my thing, on my list.
Alright, what's the best gun you've got?
So I'm using at the moment the Lancaster rifle. I think it's a Volcano pistol. Volcano? I only just got it.
What?
Or like Volcano or Vulcan. I think it's Volcano. Okay. It's pistol. Anyway, it does a lot of damage. I haven't been using pistols much.
What kind of... Yeah, pistol is like a... That's not a revolver.
Oh, sorry. There are pistols. The Volcano, I think, is a pistol.
Right.
But you can dual wield. So I can have like a pistol in one hand, a revolver in the other, or a sawed-off shotgun, something like that. I've been mainly using rifles because they're accurate and they do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I've only really just started sort of dual wielding as well, but I don't know. I just feel like the rifles are usually 1 to 2 shots, whereas the pistols can be a bit, or the revolvers can be a bit average in terms of damage.
So when we talk about, so can you clarify what you mean by a pistol then?
So there are revolvers in the game.
What is? Yeah. So what's a pistol in the game then?
So I've only got the one that I'm using, which is this Volcano thing.
Volcanic,
is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. And I think that maybe has clips or something, because it reloads quicker, I think. I don't know. Okay. I've only just started using them. I don't really use pistols or revolvers. I just use rifles most of the time.
Okay. So your Lancaster's your favourite then?
I'm using that at the moment, yeah. And then I sort of carry a semi-auto shotgun with me from time to time. Right. That'll be like my backup. And then, yeah, the guns. The complaint I've got with the guns is sometimes you go on missions and you'll start a mission, all of a sudden, like, the gun you were using is not the gun that I was carrying, and, like, all your rifles are gone all of a sudden, and it's like, oh, fuck, now I've got to turn around and go back to my horse. Because all your inventory is sitting on your horse.
Stored on your horse, yeah.
So you can cycle through all the rifles that you've bought, or all the shotguns, or all the pistols, and be like, I'm going to use these 2 guns for this one.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to swap out these sort of these different types of side weapons that I've gotten, and then go in. And sometimes you just start a mission, and it's like, you've got 1 pistol, and the 2 rifles you had are gone. It's like, what the fuck? That can be a bit frustrating. I don't know why that's happening, but it is.
Sure.
But otherwise, I think the shooting is really good. It works well. Cover system seems to work fine. Big fan of Deadeye. I don't know the way that works. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay. And do you use the bow and arrow very much?
During stealth missions, it's good because it doesn't make any noise, so you can headshot.
Does it upgrade or
not that I've seen so far? There are different types of different types of arrows you can get. You can have like explosive arrows. There are small game arrows which you use for smaller types of animals.
Rabbits.
Because each animal has like a star rating on it, and you can find an animal that's like, this is a perfect wolf, and if you use a gun on that wolf and maybe you shoot it too many times, it damages the corpse, and so the skin is not as valuable. Whereas if you use specific types of ammo or specific type of gun, then it'll make the value of it higher. So there are like certain types of animals that it's like you need to use a small game arrow on this, otherwise you'll just fucking blow it up.
Obliterate it.
Yeah. So as far as I'm aware, there aren't any other types of bows yet. I've only found the one.
Right.
But there are different types of arrows and ammunition that you can use for it.
Yeah. Okay.
I've not done a lot of hunting at all. Like I'm
surprised.
The hunting that I'm doing is
I'm going to do all hunting. I think.
All right. So the reason behind that is that I think the way the crafting is set up is pretty poor.
Okay.
It doesn't really like the crafting. The way the crafting works is a lot of it is tied behind perfect like animals. You've got to find the good ones. There's no sort of gradual like you can use a good wolf's pelt to craft this thing. It's like no, the good one is just for money and that's it. And because you can only carry one at a time for a lot of this stuff, depending on how big the animal is, it can be a bit tedious of being like, I'm gonna go get this giant thing and take it all the way back to my camp or back to the butcher and sell it. Especially if you're making $1.50 of it. Like, it's not a lot of money at the end of the day.
Isn't it?
No.
Does it seem like a fucking ton?
So
when I got a $145 bounty, that was chump change.
I've currently got $3,000 or $2,500, and I've upgraded my camp as much as I can.
Right.
I'm literally just running like I just don't have the stuff to upgrade my my satchel because I haven't seen 4 perfect wolves or whatever it is that I need to do it, and that's why I'm just not a fan of the crafting. I think it could be done better. Like you can upgrade things in your camp, the tables or like floor rugs, but it doesn't, as far as I'm aware, it's like it doesn't tell you this does this specific perk. It's just a thing to make cosmetically the place look better.
Right. Okay.
There's not a lot of like you can upgrade your satchel and you now carry more things. There are dudes like trappers out in the environment who are sort of like specialist animal catchers, and you can go and get them to craft you things. But at the same time, he's got like 8 things he can craft you, and each one of those categories that you go in, it's like he's got 4 things, and maybe it's like a holster or your ammo belt or your hat or a coat. And so there's the 4 things, and then you go on the next slot and it's like the same 4 things, it's just a different style, and each upgrade is like it sort of does quite a similar thing. It's like 25% more ammo you can carry. It's not really there's no like gradual like this one's 20, this one's 50, this is 100% more ammo.
Right.
It's just like you need 4 perfect skins and then that's the max you can get. I just wish it was a bit more like give you some incentive to sort of start off small and then
start small and go up. Yeah, fair enough.
Because I'd always be coming in and being like, hey, take this deer pelt or deer skin and then here's some rabbit fur, and you can't use it for anything. He just sells it basically.
Right.
Which, I don't know, I wish that was done a bit better. And that's my biggest complaint about like a lot of the fucking Far Cry games, right? Is that they tone back all the crafting on that sort of stuff that made a lot of fun.
True.
So there are like legendary animals out in the world, and you can either find them by being out and about and running into them, or I did find a map at one stage that shows you where they are on the map, so you can then use that stuff to go and craft other things. But I've only killed a couple of legendary animals, so hunting's not been a huge focus. It's mainly just like fuck, I'm getting
Did you kill a legendary bear?
Yeah, I did.
Was that rough or what?
No, I did that the first go.
Did you get mauled by a bear? Have you been mauled by a bear?
Yeah, I feel like there was.
That's pretty graphic.
During the tutorial. Yeah.
Unless, or is it just the legendary
It's
one?
the only time I've been attacked by a bear.
Is the legendary one?
Yeah, it was a big bear. All the other bears I've seen have been small.
Fucked me up, man.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's the one I tried to shoot with a bow and arrow.
Right.
Points.
I don't know if you...
It did nothing.
I think I killed it with a bow and arrow.
How?
Just kept pinging it. I definitely killed
Ridiculous.
it. So, yeah,
It didn't even react to me shooting in the head with an arrow. It was just like, yep, dinner time, motherfucker. And I was like, no, please, I don't want to be Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
But I was.
Yeah. So the hunting,
I'm
I'm keen to go check some of that stuff out later on, but it's not...
What about fishing?
I've done fishing. Yeah, I think I've done quite a bit of fishing. The way fishing works is you get a pole. There is different types of tackle, depending on...
Is there a mission to get a pole?
Yes. It's part of a mission.
How early in?
Took a while.
Right.
Took a while for me to get to fishing. And, yeah, so you get given a pole, and you buy tackle. There's different tackle depending on where you want to fish. Small lakes, rivers, the types of fish you're after. There's different types of bait. There are areas in the world that have different types of fish. There are legendary fish.
You caught a legendary fish?
No, not yet. There was a mission for me to go find one. And
I found one.
Yeah, I found it, but I couldn't catch him because I'm not too sure why. I tried a bunch.
Piece of shit.
And then the dude I was with was like, I'm out. I'm going back to the thing. I'm like, all right, see you, dude. So off he went.
Right.
What I want to talk about is the gang members. I think the interaction and the way the gang members are portrayed is fucking awesome. So good.
Yeah.
So you start off the game and you set up like this base camp. And you go back to that base camp and you start upgrading it with better facilities. You're bringing in food for them. You're bringing in money, which eventually you can upgrade different parts of the camp. You're bringing in ammunition so they can defend themselves. And the camp interaction, like just walking around, listening to people talk. They come up and talk to you. They'll give you missions randomly sometimes. Things will happen in the world that they'll come and talk to you about or sort of comment on. There's like people in the camps that are engaging with each other. Sometimes you can go in and like there was one moment where one of the ladies in the camp, who's sort of like one of the boss ladies, was yelling at one of the newer gang members, was in there and like having a go at her, saying that like she's lazy and all this sort of shit. And I kind of just wandered over and just stood there and listened. And then once towards the end of the conversation, one of the ladies just got like fucking slapped in the face, and then she walked away, and she just like, I was just standing there, sort of like just eavesdropping, watching this happen. The scene finishes, and then she looks at me and like, oh, she's like a silly old witch, she says to me, something like that. And I was just like, I didn't talk to her or anything. She just looked at me and started like a conversation that I was there. And then so like I hit the interact button and then say something back to her. And then that triggers this thing. Like that sort of stuff is really cool, the way that the camp dynamic works. And just like getting to know people and seeing them evolve. One of the things that we didn't mention was during the preview, and it's the stuff we saw in the preview, the 3-hour one at least, super early in the game. At least where, like, in terms of it opening up in the open world stuff. And one of the first missions is you've captured like a rival gang member who's only been on part of that gang for a couple of months, and yourself and Dutch are like talking to this guy. Dutch is the leader of your gang, and he's like trying to get information out of him. And eventually, you find out like where their camp is, where their base camp is. And so you set off on a mission. It's like you, John Marston, and Bill Williamson. And I felt that was like, it's not something we touched on, but I thought it was such a cool fucking dynamic, because you've got you in the game, who's the protagonist of this one, Arthur Morgan. You've got John Marston, who's the lead of Red Dead Redemption. And then you've got Bill, who's a part of this gang, who's actually the guy at the start of Red Dead Redemption that ends up shooting John Marston and leaving him there for dead. It's like this awesome sort of foreshadowing of things to come. Like how this gang is so fucking tight-knit, and by the end of it, you know shit's gonna go down. Like things are gonna happen. And the way that like they interact with each other, and you can see this like bonding and friendship. But looking at that early mission of like knowing that down the line, it's not going to end up very well for these guys. Although that was a fucking awesome moment. And something that I didn't mention during my preview that I think maybe a lot of people overlooked. So yeah, and even just like the interaction between Arthur and John. I did not expect the game to dive so deeply into that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And there being so much like it's super. I wouldn't say it's extremely heavy, but there's a lot. There's a lot more than what I thought there was going to be. Getting to learn John as a character and find like seeing his growth throughout the game is really cool because it starts off and I guess John has at some stage decided to leave and then come back to this gang, and so Arthur's a little bit reserved about it, and like he's giving him shit and like talking like behind his back to other people, and then you can see this growth throughout the game of them becoming closer, and so I'm curious to see where that really ends up later on down the path, and just the way that the characters evolve is done fucking awesome. I think Dutch especially, like you can tell the way he's portrayed, I think is one of the best characters in the game. His leadership is really...
He's the boss.
Yeah, so him being...
He's Dutch Vanderlind, and it's the Vanderlind gang, right?
So... Yeah, and like his leadership is there. It's present in the game. You can feel it. Like when shit hits the fan, he gets the troops around, he talks to them. He's always making decisions. It seems like he's the smartest in the gang. Well, I don't know about smart. Maybe he's the smartest, but like... Arthur will be like, well, what do we do now? And he's like, oh, don't worry, I've got a plan. We've got a plan. I've got this. He comes up with these ideas, and then, like you start seeing the turn, like the way the gang starts at the start of the game is you're on your last legs, and then you eventually go out and you start making money, and things start looking up, and then, because of the story, things don't go very well, and things start to turn, and you see like characters change throughout the story, which is done awesomely for from what I gather, it's like a 60-hour main campaign. Rockstar was saying, and it's sounding like that is pretty accurate in terms of if you just want to do the main campaign, it's going to take you about 60 hours. That seems, from what I'm hearing from other people, like solid, spot on. And so to see that sort of arc is really cool. I think it's done extremely well. I think the voice acting is brilliant. One thing that I want to look into a bit more is sort of how the story unfolds depending on your honor system, because the way that you interact with the world can change. And if you're doing bad deeds, then you become a, quote, bad guy, whereas I'm playing entirely as a good guy. And, I'm not robbing people unless they're asking for it. I don't go around just murdering people. I only do the missions that like it tells me to do. But I've gotten to the point where I'm nearly maxed out on my honor system, and I'm curious sort of how that, what effect that happens on some of the missions. Like there are missions where like you are supporting women, like for getting women's votes. Like they should be allowed to vote, things like that. Like what happens if I'm a bad dude? Like does he give a fuck about any of that stuff? Or or just interacting with other people in the world, like going about certain, like there are things that he is doing on missions, and I'm like, if I was a bad guy, he probably wouldn't be doing this stuff. Like it wouldn't make any sense. So I'm curious to see if even missions are different for some of the way they sort of are portrayed, because it feels like the way that I'm playing the game, the character seems pretty spot on. Whereas if I was a dick, then how does that happen? Like, what happens if I'm an arsehole? Does he go? Does he care about women's rights for voting, or does it play out the same way? I'm curious about that sort of stuff. So I think overall the performances are awesome. The camp interaction is really good. The way they evolve, the story is great. The world itself, like there are different sort of regions that sort of split up into swamplands and snowy mountains, green lush valleys, desert areas. There are still moments in the game where I'm running around, I'm like, holy fuck, that looks so cool, just looking at things that are happening. There are some frame rate issues with the game, particularly in areas where there's a lot going on. Something that I brought up during the preview, that it wasn't running the best, but it was a preview. Those particular parts that we saw were running fine, like those early starting moments. It's later on where you start getting into towns that are a lot larger, it does drop quite a lot. So I'm hoping they do eventually fix some of that stuff, because it is a little disappointing that the frame rate does get that low. That's probably my only other complaint in terms of the like technical details. Everything else seems to be running fine. No crashes at all. No weird, not too many weird bugs. Nothing that's been like, oh, that's pretty fucked. Like, I don't know what to do from here. Otherwise it's been running smooth. Yeah. What else is there? I don't know.
Have you ever like had like a holy shit moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. That shit's fucked or something like that. There was a couple in GTA 5, you know, like fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know about that type thing.
Yeah, there's stuff in there. That I can't talk about because I don't want to ruin it for people.
Fair enough.
There are things in the game called shacks. They're like mysterious shacks, and there's 5 of them in the world that you can go out and find. And I've found 3 of them so far.
Right.
One of them has like a riddle behind it, and I've solved that, and something happens when you solve it. Right. And I'll post a video up on YouTube as soon as I can, because I'm hoping nobody else has figured that out. But that one's massive. And the other one I found, and I don't know which house it was, which is kind of disappointing.
What?
Like, I don't know which one it was, because it doesn't give you an indicator. Like, oh, this is the thing that you're supposed to, like, the random... It's just like, I went to the menu one time, I was like, oh, fuck, which house was it?
Oh, and so so you stumbled across it.
Yeah, like, I had an idea, like, I found one, I'm like, oh, this must be it. And then I went back to a previous save, and then went to the house, and it didn't change. I was like, fuck, I thought this is the one. But then I found a second one, and I know which one that is. That one wasn't... it was just... That one was weird because it was a thing that I just found out in the world, and then later on there was this mission 20 hours later that took me there, and I was like, oh, that's a bit shit.
Right.
So that one was a bit fucking disappointing. But the first one I found is, I think, a big one. And I'm hoping that nobody else has found it, because I think that one's huge.
Okay.
But yeah...
There's a good chance. There seems like there's a good chance
that
nobody's...
I'm hoping. But at the same time, if somebody has found that riddle, I guarantee you people are trying to fucking figure that out. And it's not a hard one to figure out.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't want to spoil it, because I think it's... And I don't... The thing is, I don't know how to put it on YouTube without spoiling it. Like, if you look at the headline of that clip, you're going to know exactly what the fuck you're in for.
Could you do, like...
Nope.
Mystery Shack number 1?
I don't think it blows up
riddle?
as much.
Oh, you want people to click.
Yeah, you want them clicks.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, there are plenty of moments where I've been just running around and being like, what the fuck is that? Like, and there was one part of the game I was running around and I came across some people and I didn't really know what was going on, and then weird shit started happening, and then I was like, that kind of finished. I was like, oh, that was fucking cool. But then it was explained later on in another mission, sort of what was going on, and I thought that was a bit crap. I would have liked the mystery to be left there, a little bit. But like the dude I'm talking about on the like the naked man, like what the fuck is his deal? Like,
yeah.
When I got to that spot, there was like, and you'll see it in the video, I find this underground like I don't know, passage. It goes into the ground, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this? And then I get in there, and it's like a burial, like a ritual chamber or something. There's like bones everywhere, but it goes up, it's like the outdoors, and it's not covered anymore. And I was like, that was a little disappointing, but at the same time, I was like, whoa, this is nuts. There are things like that in the world. There's a side mission where you're supposed to find dinosaur bones or something, and I've found zero fucking dinosaur bones in the 60 hours that I first got that mission. There's one where I'm supposed to find rock carvings or rock paintings inside caves. I've not found any of those things. There are
in Valentine, one of the first stranger missions you get is to go
bounty
interview
this gunslinger.
The gunslingers. Do you have like fucking face-offs with them?
So
or?
there are there's a dueling system in the game.
Okay.
The way that works is, and it's a bit iffy. You hold down your right trigger slowly, and it fills up just a bar, a circle bar. And from what I understand, the more meter that you fill, the more time you get to shoot the other person. So from what I gather, you're trying to watch for them to pull their gun, and then you pull it. So what I just do is, and I've won it every time, I think it needs to be tweaked a little bit. I pull the trigger really slowly, let it sit for about 3 or 4 seconds, and then I just fucking click it, and then I just shoot them and kill them. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'm doing it right. Maybe I'm just gaming it a little bit. It doesn't feel right the way I'm playing it. Because if you just pull the trigger, you get no slowdown really, and they just fucking kill you straight away.
Right.
I would like it to be a bit more responsive in terms of maybe you are watching them, and then you've got to pull it before, like, as they're about to pull it or something. It just seems a bit... It doesn't explain it too well the way you're supposed to do it. It seems a bit janky. Okay. But yes, there are, like, gunslinger moments where you're tracking down these people in the world, and they don't all play out like that. Some of them are different. Some of them are... They'll want you to go do a mission, and you come back and they'll tell you about their story. Some of them will run away, or some of them will want to fight you. It plays out differently.
Awesome.
There are bounty missions. You go to a sheriff's office, you find bounties on the wall. You go... Some of them are wanted, dead or alive.
You can only do bounties because you've been playing as a good guy.
Sorry?
You can only do bounties because you've been playing as a good guy.
Oh, right. Is that the way that works?
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah. So you can go do those missions. There's like a lot. There's a lot for you to do. There are...
Alright, if you were starting over again and you knew everything you knew now, what are 3 things you'd tell yourself?
I don't know.
Just to get started off on the right
I've been
foot?
thinking about this, because I'm trying to do some guides, and I just don't know what's like...
Like, do all the missions up to a certain point?
Because there's no experience in the game.
Yeah, but even, like... Well, I was thinking, right, from my short experience, right, you'd want to at least do the mission where you go unlock the stable, right, before you go free roaming, so you can actually get your fucking horse back.
Sure.
Because if you lose your horse while you're free roaming, you are then stuck walking fucking everywhere, which is how I spent a giant chunk of my 6-hour fucking playthrough.
Yeah.
Play, so, you know, oh god. Play all the way through to that mission, I think would be a good one to start with, right? But I don't, like, yeah.
Yep.
Is there a better mission that you should play through, or
I literally don't remember. It's too far away for me to think about, like, what those missions were.
Ridiculous. Buy a double action revolver immediately.
Yeah.
No, I mean the double action is significantly better than the single action.
I just think the revolvers, the rifles are pretty good. Like, try and get yourself a good rifle.
Right. Okay.
Off the start, yeah. It's there are things in the camp you can upgrade.
In Kingdom Come Deliverance, I made a video where you can find a fuck ton of money straight from the get-go.
Yeah.
Does anything like that exist?
Not really. You feel like you're not getting a lot of money until you start doing some of the main mission jobs, like the bank heist.
Like the heist.
And then it's like, you get $1,000, and you're like, what the fuck am I going to do with all this money? Like, I've been pulling in $50 all the time. The thing, the way I find to earn money is looting. You get you get money off of corpses, but you also occasionally will get jewelry off them, pocket watches or rings. They can net you quite a bit of money, and they also boost the your honor meter if you deposit it into your camp's sort of money pit.
Cash.
Yeah. I would, if you're upgrading your camp, I would not do the one that's like, hey, upgrade Dutch's his bed and then your bed. It's supposed to get people to deposit more money, like incentivize them, and that doesn't like it's pittance. It's like $400 to upgrade, and
And you don't see a return.
no, because you can look at the ledger of how much people have put in, and it's like Arthur. It's like 2 pages of Arthur, and then it's got like Sally $1.50, and you're like, I've just fucking deposited like $800, and Sally's not. At least Sally's putting something in, but what the fuck's everyone else doing? I would focus on getting your things like ammunition or health medicine upgrades, boosting them up, because that gives you access to more resources, like more ammo, different types of ammo, different types of food, things like that. And then you can use those when you get back to camp, pick them up, and you can restock them for usually a minimal amount. So if they're your type of person that's running around looking, I think that's more worthy than the other shit. Yeah.
Did you find alligator eggs?
Yeah, I found alligator eggs.
$2.50 a piece, or what?
Yeah, something like that.
Fuck yeah, that's cash.
But the thing is, you can only carry, I think, 10 at a time.
$25.
Yeah. There are things like the treasure maps, which sometimes they'll have like gold ingots, and they're worth quite a lot. So if you do find them, the way they work is pretty similar to Red Dead Redemption, where you find a sketch, and it's like, figure out in the fucking world where this is, and off you go. And they'll be like, sometimes they're in tiered, like it'll show you a picture of an area, and then part 2 will be a tree with an arrow pointing around the corner, and then part 3 will be like another section, but it's all the set, like it's giving you clues to where you're supposed to go. And so I've done a couple of them. Sometimes it'll be like, all right, here's an ingot, and then here is part 2 of the clue, and then there's another map, and you got to try and figure that part out, like where it goes. There's that stuff usually has a lot of gold, but I don't feel like I don't feel the need to have a lot of gold yet. It's not really something that I'm needing at the moment. When you do like bad deeds in the world, you get put a bounty on you if you ever get caught, and each time you do that, sort of increments, and it's like you start off with a $60 bounty, and then you'll do something else, and now it's $75, and you can go on.
What's the highest bounty you've had?
450.
Holy fuck!
And these are mainly because of story missions. When you do story missions, like I'm gonna go rob this bank, then 400 whatever dollar bounty is on you, and you can go clear them. So, but I haven't in most cases because I'm just running around being a gangster, and then they send bounty hunters after you, and depending on how much money is on your head, I think it depends like how many they send after you.
Right.
Because some of the lower tiered ones are like they'll send 3 guys, and the higher ones are like there's like 8 dudes and 2 dogs, and they're a good source of income as well. There's quite some money that comes out of those guys. So I just kind of leave them, come and get me, boys, and then murder them all. And that's.
Can you get a best friend that is a dog?
There are dogs.
And you can pat the dogs. I know
pat them, and.
But can you be best friends with the dog?
I don't think so. I've not tried. Like I've seen dogs around.
Missed. When it comes out on PC, that's the first thing that's getting modded in. I guarantee it.
You're best friends with a horse, like.
Fuck a horse. Don't fuck a horse. But I don't want to be best friends with a horse. I want to be best friends with a dog.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you could be best friends with a horse and a dog. I'd be okay with that. I just wouldn't tell the horse that the dog was actually my best friend.
Yeah. One of my other complaints about the game is that does this thing, and I think GTA had the same problem, where you would be in a fight, or it's kind of like these arenas, and it just spawns people in sort of around the area. Like suddenly they're behind a tree, and you can you see them pop up on the map, and you're like, there was not a person there a second ago, but now there is. I don't know. I don't like the way it does that. It just feels too gamey to me. It'd be cool
because you're in a major habit of clearing out sectors when you're moving through spaces from like battle royale and shit. So Yeah, it makes sense that you wouldn't.
Just basic things like there was yesterday. I was clearing out this house or the outside of their house, and you're running around with an AI partner, and she's like, "There's a dude on your left," or whatever. And so you clear all the guys out there, and sort of you run past, and all of a sudden you see on the red dot something behind you now, and you turn around, and there's like a guy standing there, and you're like, "You were not there a second ago." And the same thing happens with like off in the distance, you'll shoot people, and then all of a sudden you'll see like somebody behind a tree, and it's like they weren't there a second ago. I'm not a fan of the way it does that. It just feels too strange. Yeah. I like to see them come in by horseback or fucking running in off screen or something. It just seems like they spawn in way too close. The game has a variety of different ways you can set your minimap and compass. I would recommend people set it to large, like the biggest one it's got. It is I feel like the normal size one doesn't show you enough around you. Like you got to be super close to see some of that stuff. There is like a dynamic one where it sort of zooms in and out, but I don't think enough the time it does the zoom out. So I've got it on the biggest, and I feel like I can see more around me. It's handy for when you're riding in an area and you can hear someone trying to talk to you, and like if they're not next to you, then you can't see on the map where they are. Which is cool. So otherwise the HUD is super clean. Clean. There's nothing going on. Your cores disappear when there's nothing happening with them. It's literally just a minimap, and you can switch that off if you want to. You can turn it on to just a compass, which shows you north, south, east, west. You can turn it off completely. There's a bunch of different options in the menu that can sort of affect what things in the world will show up for the HUD. Maybe you want it on all the time, maybe you don't. That stuff is really handy. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I don't know what else I can talk about. There's heaps of things there's one moment in the game where somebody talked about rumors of a ghost and things like that, and it's like I don't necessarily get a mission for it, but what if I go out to that area and have a look? Like, is there actually a ghost, or is it just a rumor? Like, you can overhear people talking about things and sort of go out there and eventually find stuff, which I think is really cool. So I think the game's going to have a lot of those moments, and Rockstar like to do things like that where you start hearing rumors about strange shit that happens. I think the UFO thing in GTA 5 was a really cool one, where it was this super long, convoluted thing that happened that eventually turned into something. Like, it wasn't meant to be anything at the start, and then it was something they ended up patching in later on. That sort of stuff is really cool. You hear about things like I was going to say a Wookiee, but it's not a Wookiee. Like Bigfoot, like out in the forest.
Sasquatch.
Yeah, things like that. That, like, the stories. I want to hear about, like, people's stories and like what they've come across and just weird shit like that, because there is so much world building in the game that I think everybody's going to have a different experience, or at least a different enough experience where, like, you saw these types of different things and I saw something completely different. Like, we've got a group chat at the moment for I don't know, maybe 70% of the people in Australia that have got it at the moment, and at times we're trying to be as, I don't know, spoiler free as possible. Say, hey, have you guys seen this? And everyone's like, what? Like, no idea. So that stuff's really cool. I'm keen to see everybody's playthrough and how they sort of, what they find in the world, and because it's huge.
What's apart from, was it Have You Tried Spaghetti?
Yeah.
Which is a video I am sure you will share with the world. Yes. What's the goofiest fucking thing that's happened to you? Or is Have You Tried Spaghetti the goofiest fucking thing that's happened to you?
Did they do anything to you?
Have you ever had spaghetti?
What's that?
It's food. It looks like worms, but it's delicious.
Is that right?
Papa Bronte teach me lots of Italian words.
Don't call him that, please.
That was just a funny thing that just...
It was hilarious.
Just randomly...
I watched it like 7 times. I don't know, like, the word spaghetti is inherently funny, so the timing of it is spectacular. But, holy shit. Yeah, that one's good. That's amazing.
Yeah. So the one that I sent you, the second one, was like, this is pure Red Dead. Like this is the Red Dead. This is the Red Deadiest shit that's happened to me today. And it was just me. What was I doing? I think I was going to a mission or something, or maybe I was looking for one of these shacks or something like that. I'm rolling up through this fucking cemetery or this church. I go up the road. I've been down this fucking road a million times, and I go up the hill, and there's a house there, and it's got smoke coming out of it. And as I get closer, I'm like, I'll just go have a look. And I roll up, and I see 4 red dots inside the house, and I'm like, that's different. Like normally, don't really see that sort of stuff. And so I get to the door, and I'm hearing people talking inside. And so I pull my guns out, and I walk through the door, and like 4 dudes are sitting at a table, and they immediately get up and like start yelling at me. So I quickly trigger Deadeye and blast all these dudes in the head. Like I trigger them, I paint them in the head. I hit the trigger, and Arthur just fires at all of them, like shoots them all in the head. And I'm just like, what the like I'm. At the end of that video, it's me sitting there for about 4 seconds. Like, I cut it at about 4 seconds of me just standing there. It goes on for longer than that, of me just being like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I don't... Like, that hasn't happened to me before in the game. In fucking 70 or 80 hours, I've not had that happen.
Yeah.
And for you, that maybe seems like, oh, that was a...
non-sequitur.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But for me, that hasn't happened before. Like, I've never rocked up to a house and there's been people sitting inside of it. Like a gang in there just doing nothing, which is why I thought it was super strange for me. And the fact that the game can keep doing those things constantly over the course of 80 hours is fucking insane. It's just so well done. Yeah,
awesome. All right,
but
well, we're going to talk about it a bunch next week as well.
I feel like the week after,
probably. Yeah, so maybe we wrap it, shall we?
Yeah.
And we'll do some news.
Yeah.
Because I actually have to do a shitload of work if I can take the last half of this week off to play Red Dead. So, yeah.
I have a review to write.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got a bit to do as well. So, we'll wrap it up there. Well, let's do some news. I don't think we've got a lot. I grabbed a couple of things. Let's have a squiz. We have Treyarch addresses tick rate in Call of Duty. So over the week, it was revealed that that the tick rate in Call of Duty, the multiplayer was lowered to 20 hertz. It was 60 hertz in the beta. It's now 20 hertz. And over the course of time, it's slowly been revealed that first they raised the tick rate of Blackout while they lowered the tick rate of multiplayer. And further, Treyarch has come out and they've said that basically... they did it to lower stress on the servers during the launch week.
Yeah, right. So during the beta, the tick rate for multiplayer was about 60, and if I recall, the Blackout was about 15.
No, it was like
10
or something, wasn't
it? I think it started off about
so
10, and then it got up to about 15.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it's now about 20, which is... It's still high. I think it's higher than what PUBG and Fortnite were when they first came out.
Yeah. Could be higher still.
I think it's going to be higher. Like again, it's still higher than what PUBG and Fortnite were. It's going to take time for them to really flesh out that infrastructure and get it to something that's better. I think they'll get there.
They made $500,000.
Yeah.
In their first weekend. So, I don't feel like time is really on their side in this one. I feel like they should probably fucking pull their fucking fingers out and spin up some expensive ass 60 hertz servers across the fucking board. Because, $500,000 that's a lot of cheddar. They can they can do whatever the fuck they want, to be honest. They're got enough to really put together some good servers, and they should probably do that, I feel.
Sure.
That said, Surprising to me, the surprise to me was that Blackout was where they were shifting priority already in the first week. They were like, fucking lower those shitty multiplayer servers and make Blackout better. It has to be as good as possible.
Sure.
Because to me that's pretty huge. I think it's obvious the Blackout is the superior game mode in Black Ops 4. But to have the Call of Duty team acknowledge that as well, I think is massive. Massive. Anyway. Nevertheless, they should bump regular multiplayer back up to 60. I mean, they're small maps, so I don't think it should be too heavy server load wise.
Sure.
And work on getting Blackout as higher hertz as possible as soon as possible. I think, I think high quality servers is not a development intensive process quite the same way that bug fixing is or other things are, because you can spin up better fucking servers pretty fucking quickly. I think the fact that they spun up worse servers pretty fucking quickly is evidence of that. It's not one of those things where people are like, oh, why doesn't PUBG just fix all the bugs that I hate? And then you're like, look, instead of making like clothes, instead of making new beanies, you're like, look, game development takes time. I think we all understand that there are pressures involved, and the person doing the bug fixing isn't the person making beanies and stuff like this. That's not the case here. We're talking about spending a bit of dosh and getting some better fucking servers.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Sort it out, Activision.
Yeah, I think it'll happen soon.
Also, I love your game. Also, Activision, if you're listening, PUBG, I have a PUBG backpack, but I don't have an Activision. I don't have a Blackout backpack. So I'm repping. I went to shoot the podium today, the esports clip show that I do, and that's at Fox Studios. And while I was going through the security, the dude saw my backpack. He's like, dude, can I ask you, did you get that at a nerd convention? I'm like, I most certainly did. And he goes, oh man, it's so fucking cool. I love that backpack. I love PUBG. I'm like, yeah, you played Blackout? He's like, no, not yet, but I'm going to get on it this weekend. I'm like, I'm not going to bring up Red Dead Redemption, but yeah, because I need to get through and go to this shoot. But I cannot believe you're going to play Blackout on Red Dead Redemption 2's fucking opening weekend. You're insane. Anyway, so I want a Blackout fucking backpack. Damn it. A black pack.
No.
Maybe not a black pack. A backpack out.
Sure.
That's better. Alright. In other news, we have Oculus co-founder leaves Facebook following cancellation of the Rift 2. Now, there's a bit of a extra story to this story, because the Rift 2, Facebook has said that the Rift 2 hasn't actually been cancelled. But the way it goes is Brendan Iribe, the co-founder and former CEO of Oculus, announced that he's leaving Facebook. And he wrote on Facebook this big, I'm super grateful and proud of what we've done and blah, 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 blah. But the long and short of it is that they've cancelled the Rift 2 and moving into focusing more on their Oculus Go style stuff instead, which is lower end hardware. Sure. So I guess this would be as close to creative differences as the tech industry gets. Facebook's come out and said that they can confirm, this was their specific wording, while we can't comment on our product roadmap specifics, we do have future plans and can confirm that we are planning for a future version of Rift. So Oculus Rift is separate to Oculus Go and Oculus Quest. So they're saying they have a future version of Rift in play. People are saying that means that they're saying they didn't cancel the Rift 2, but that's not them saying that they didn't cancel the Rift 2. That's them saying that they're planning a different version. It might be the Rift Go. It might be the Rift Quest. It might be the Rift fucking Face or something like that. Yeah, it might be fucking anything. But that is not saying the Rift 2 has not been cancelled at all. And yeah, the dude left. So yeah, it's an interesting one, I think. I've got VR on the mind, obviously, at the moment because I'm playing a bit of it. And, you know, I'm buying shit on eBay to make my shit work better and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Oculus still seems to capture the zeitgeist. When you say VR, most people think Oculus. They don't think Vive. Oculus is almost, it's like the generic brand for VR almost at this point, you know. That's how a lot of people just generally think.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, this I think is an interesting one because I don't know, they're shifting away from the hardcore sector, and I don't think that is that's the correct move. I think trying to shift more into the mobile like realm, or trying to pander more to the mobile realm is the wrong way to go about it. Because I don't think VR grows that way. And Oculus and HTC, I think, have been for a while now about the future, about further in the future than today, and making a move where they concentrate on mobile tech is a very get money now sort of plan. And yeah, I think it's interesting. They might be trying to get what they can, get what cash they can before they feel like it's going to dry up. Maybe VR is on its way out. I mean, it never really took off. I am still 100% a believer. I still think that VR like games are spectacular when they're done correctly, and like the technology itself is properly immersive in a way that no other game has ever, like no other platform has ever been. But yeah, like if you can't get people to buy it, then it's hard to get people to develop for it. And if you can't get people to develop for it, then it's never really going to take off. It's in an interesting place. Any thoughts, Luke?
I haven't looked into this at all, so I don't know.
Sweet.
I don't know, man. VR is in a weird spot. I think Sony's like the only one that's sort of putting some money behind it. In terms of games,
they released a game, right? Real recently that everyone's been fucking loving.
Was that robot one?
Yeah, the robot one. Yeah,
right.
Everyone loves it. I was talking to Cam from IGN when we were watching the basketball last week.
Yeah,
and he was like raving about it. He was like, I like stole the officer's PSVR, and I'll probably keep it for another week or so, so that like not just me but everyone in my house can play this game. I love it to bits. It is spectacular.
Right.
This is what VR is supposed to be about. So yeah, that's pretty huge to me, I think. Yeah. But yeah, like Sony is pretty much the only real player in that space.
Yeah, other than indie games, seems to be the other thing. So I don't know, man. Like I feel like it needs some just more time still, and better ways of figuring out some of that technology. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. True. Okay, let's do some questions.
No news? No other news? I don't even know. I haven't paid any attention to anything that's happened this week. I'm sure people are angry about fucking something. They're always angry about things, Job. Every week, something new.
Here we go. Drew. Dr. E3 Money says, does Job secretly hate me? This will be the second PAX I've been to that old Jobbo has punted on to avoid me.
Truth is out there.
Didn't I fly down to Dark Mofo to go to Dark Mofo with you, Dr. E3 Money, you motherfucker? How dare you say this to me? How dare you say this to me? It's true, I will not be at PAX. At the end of the day... Oh, fuck, I'm just banging everything. At the end of the day, we... I'm just going to make it work from a financial point of view, which sucks. It does wind up being quite expensive if you wait to get some sponsorship and then you don't, and then you have to buy tickets 3 weeks out from it. It turns out that really jacks up the price of everything involved.
You could have got Tiger down there.
Oh, I could have. Drats.
We did that first, didn't we?
We did. It was the worst. That was the last time I ever flew Tiger.
It's the last as well.
Yeah, it's a bummer because it looks like it's going to be fucking awesome. There's heaps of stuff I want to check out. I will obviously be watching all of the esports action over the weekend, but I'll mostly be playing with Red Dead Redemption.
You'll be playing 10% of Red Dead Redemption 2.
10%, you reckon? 10%. I've got a big free weekend planned from basically Thursday night onwards, and I'm excited to get into that shit. I am actually proper jealous of everyone who's going to be at PAX because it does look like it's going to be fucking really good. And yeah, I enjoy seeing everyone. But on the flip side, if you are a Patreon subscriber and you manage to find Luke out in the wild, he has to buy you a fucking beer.
Is that right?
So that is the fucking rule, motherfucker. So you should hunt him down. You should find him wherever he is and make him buy you a beer. Hint, the sports bar at the casino.
I've looked. There's no games on that I want to watch that day. On Saturday.
What?
Yeah.
Are you joking?
Lakers aren't playing. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to PAX on Saturday.
Fuck. Play some board games.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. Play board games.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it does look awesome. Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to seeing?
Me? I don't have any bookings other than interviews with people. So
okay.
I've got an interview with Pete Hines. I think I'm interviewing Tim Willits. I got some NVIDIA stuff that I've got lined up.
Sick. Get me a 2080.
It's all me.
Get two. Say you want to test it out in SLI, and then give me one.
I saw that Xbox announced their booth recently, and it turns out there's nothing there. Other than, I think Ori and the new Ori game is the new one they're going to have. It's pretty sad. I don't know who else is going to be around. Like, the indie stuff is usually what I go see, and I don't tend to make bookings for the indie stuff because I don't know what my schedule's going to be like. I'll just rock up.
And neither do any of the indie people usually. Ha!
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens.
There's this cat. Just camera bombing in the background.
Yeah. She does that. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll definitely be around. I'm there for a couple of days, and then if you're around, come say hi.
Do it.
Come see me. All right.
And yeah, if you're a Patreon subscriber, make him buy you a beer.
Is there beer at the convention?
Make him
go across the road.
Go somewhere to buy you a beer. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'll do that.
Rules.
Unless I'm about to interview someone.
No.
Just leave.
No. Drop everything. It's in the fucking rules.
Yeah.
Make him do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. That's it. All right, we can wrap things up. I'm sure we'll talk about more things next week. All right, you can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store. We're under the Gap with the GA Podcast. You can find us on those great platforms. If you rate and review us, helps other people find our show. If you want to email us, you can do that. The email address is thegapodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on facebook.com/GAPodcast, twitter.com/GAPodcast. We're on youtube.com/GAPodcast, where you can watch the video of us talking. And then this week will be some Red Dead gameplay. Something different.
Yes.
Yes. Joab looks like a stunned mullet on my screen. I fixed it. I broke something for a minute.
Was it frozen?
Yeah, it was frozen.
Oh, okay.
And you just look like you're in shock. And I wasn't sure what was going on. But no, I fixed it now. Anyway, so you can watch Joab being a stunned mullet on YouTube. Subscribe to us, hit the like button. If you do that, it allows us to do more things. You are definitely not frozen, I can tell.
No, I keep blinking and shifting my head
Yeah.
like an idiot.
So yeah, thanks to the people who've been subscribing the last couple of weeks. Appreciate it a lot. Hopefully we get more people. It'll allow us to do more things like this. More, like, do you like seeing the gameplay stuff? We can put that up if you do. Even though it's just me running around for an hour and a half. Doing random shit. Anyway, that's fun.
What the fuck is not to like?
thegapodcast.com. You can go to our website where you can find links to all the things we just talked about, including past episodes of the show, including our Discord page, thegapodcast.com/Discord. You can play some Call of Duty Black Ops with the crew this week and next week. And then maybe just jump in there and talk about your Red Dead stories with Joab while he's trying to play.
Yes. Do it.
Yeah. And if you want to, leave us questions about things you might want to know about the game. We'll try and answer them next week. Because there's tons of things we did not touch on, like fighting and the honor system, how that works, and just weird side quest stuff. And yeah, there's a bunch of things that we did not touch on at all. Fucking my beard. I've been growing my beard for 70 hours, and I think it's just gotten to max.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw in your video that you had long hair. And
I have
a
not
beard.
shaved at all during the game, and it's just hit the max on the beard, I think. I think it's about to, or it has. You get hair tonic, and you drink it, and it makes your beard grow quicker. Anyway.
Oh,
I look
okay.
like fucking Nate
Of course.
running around. Anyway, so you can get...
Speaking of, he'll be on next week.
About Red Dead.
Red Dead with us.
I gotta figure out how to get three of us on the screen. I don't know how that happens.
It's going to be a challenge. It's going to
Maybe
be a
just put him in the corner somewhere.
I'm thinking maybe we have to do it in one location. Live and in living colour.
We'll see.
While drinking.
We'll see what we can do. But all those things, that website, you can support our show. You go to patreon.com/GA podcast if you want to help support the show.
Thank you so much. If you do, make sure you get your beer from Luke.
You can do that. And thanks to Andrew B, who subscribed this week. This week?
Cheers, Andrew.
Yes. So,
Thanks, dude.
that person and all the other people that are subscribing on, I think it's $4 tier, get the podcast early when we can. So, generally, we try and to adhere to embargoes, but we try to put it out Thursday-ish for those people, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday for everyone else. This week, though, I think we're going to go out right on fucking Red Dead time because...
Everyone's going to get it at the same time on embargo for Red Dead. I don't care if it kills Luke. He's going to make it happen.
I will be out that night, but I'm going to plan it all to go up at that time, and everyone will get it. So you should... Yeah, that way when you wake up on Friday morning, it'll be there ready for you to go. You can listen to us talk about it. Hopefully I didn't spoil too much. Like, I didn't talk about story stuff.
I don't think you did. We'll do like...
Are we going to do a spoiler cast?
We could do like a spoiler chunk next week. What do you reckon? Or 2 weeks from now. We could do a spoiler cast.
Yeah.
I'd happily do a spoiler
We have to do a
cast.
spoiler cast. And that'll take us fucking ages. Like, I don't...
Okay.
Like, it could be 6 hours.
Alright, then we might go a couple of weeks from now.
It could be
Once
insane.
I've got all the spoilers as well out of the way. Sweet.
All right, that's the show. You got anything you want to pimp out this week?
Go check out my Ways Call of Duty Could Improve article. I did a story with the World of Warcraft arena team representing APAC. They were called Mad Dogs. Since I put that story up, they've been acquired by Order. Order is the Melbourne-based organisation. So that's pretty cool. So now they're the Order Army team going to BlizzCon, so you can check out that story. And by the time this goes up, I will have a story up with Sean Kawai, or how the fuck you say his last name, Gratis Faction.
Kawhi Leonard.
From the Renegades, formerly of Greyhound. So that should be a really good story, and I'm excited for that to go up. The answers he gave me to my questions were really fucking good, and he took a lot of time to really like give me proper answers, which is sick.
Cool.
And so yeah, that should be a good one. That'll be a good read, I think.
Awesome. For me, you can go to Stevivor.com and check out my Battlefield 5 preview. The interview Joab talked about being a Nazi as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously Red Dead Redemption 2. My review for that will be up. Should be by the time you hear this. And I've got a couple guides going up as well. I'm doing some some guides and maybe some Easter eggy type things that I've found.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, you can go check them out. But yeah, bunch of content, Survivor.com, Red Dead, do it. That's it. You can find me on twitter.com/LukeLawrie.
I'm on Twitter at JoeyJojo. You can see some goofy videos from... I don't know. I can embed GIFs in my stories, but if I want, like, they're tiny fucking GIFs, and I can't change the size of them. So if I want something to look good, I generally have to tweet a video of it, and then I embed that video, that like Twitter video, or I could put it up on YouTube, but I don't want to like flood my fucking YouTube with a bunch of 15-second videos. So yeah, it's, I don't know. You might there's a bunch of tiny fucking videos on my Twitter, which are pretty good, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Sounds good. Cool. All right, that's it. Next week we're back with more PAX and Red Dead. Looks like that's what we're talking about.
You'll be gloating about going to PAX, and I'll be gloating about having played Red
Some
Dead.
of it.
Most of it. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me. I'll probably finish it before you do, champ.
Probably.
I've got a thing called fucking drive and skill at video games that you just lack.
Okay, we'll see. All right. That's it. Bye-bye.
Bye.